sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, 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 into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you,
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the very first preview show of the 9-game week season. Yes, it is the Elite FPL breakfast show with myself, Stevo, where of course I'll be going through essentially my predictions for the upcoming game weeks. But more importantly, this is the stream which is aimed at our Southern Hemisphere fans, the fans which are the ones that aren't able to really join us live in the evenings and can join us now live. So I'm putting out there right now, if you want to come live on air, you're more than welcome to. The Discord waiting room is open, so you're more than welcome to join in and talk all things fantasy football, specifically all things Game Week 30, where of course that's tomorrow evening. It all kicks off tomorrow evening. It's the big one. It's going to be absolutely chaos tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm off. I don't need to worry about anything. And you may be wondering what the hell that is up on screen at the moment. And you know when you could argue whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, really, if you consume too much content of something, i.e. in this case, fantasy football. And we all have our favourite FPL channels that we listen to, favourite, podcasts, YouTubers, whatever. And I was listening to various ones about potentially playing bench boost. Essentially because it will probably be better than using the triple captaincy, because you'll probably get more points from the bench boost, specifically from the single game week players. And also speaking to Dan last night regarding Arsenal and thinking about what Davey P says. I keep doing that. Davey, you need to change your name. What Davey P says about, are we just going too hard into this double game week? Specifically regarding Arsenal and Aston Villa, who, let's be realistic here, are absolutely pants. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm very, very, very tempted by a bench boost. Now, I'm in a very, very privileged position where I can easily do whatever I want, because no matter what I do, I'm wildcarding in Gameweek 31. I'm willing to do that. I think for a bit of fun, you could either do one of two things. You can either go all in on double game week players. We all know who they are. Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Man City. You can do what is up on screen at the moment, which is kind of like a 50-50 split, where going with the two best double game week teams, and I personally believe that is Sheffield United and Man City, and then choose some and work with the budget that you've got to bring in the best single game week players. And up on screen here is, I've been playing around with this bits and pieces this morning. And really, from a single game week player perspective, I certainly think Mane is an absolute must. There's a very, 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 very good chance that he's going to do well against Everton. I've said it 1,000 times, and I'm going to say it tonight on tonight's preview show. Tonight it'll be myself, Jason, Daily Llama, and then at some point Firetog will hopefully join us. So there'll be four of us discussing the upcoming game week, albeit from a selfish point of view. Firetog and Llama are going to be there to be discussing what's happening with the Champions League, mini league, tournament, whatever you want to call it. But so tonight we're going to be going in depth about all the previewing of game week 9 itself, giving you our predictions. But Mane, I think, from a Liverpool perspective, is possibly one of the best assets to have from Liverpool. From a prediction point of view, I'm thinking 3. Liverpool to get at least 3 goals. I said it last night, I think they're going to go hell for leather to win these 2 games. Just get them out of the way, get the 6 points, and we've done it. If I was in a position where all you had to do was get X amount of points to win something, you just go for it. Klopp ain't going to set up defensively and think, I'm a bit worried that Everton or Crystal Palace may hit us on the counter-attack and they may score against us and they may beat us. No, he's not like that. He's going to go for it. And Mane, of course, being one of the talisman for Liverpool. I'm stating the blinking obvious there, I know that. I don't know why. There's something about Mane which I prefer over Salah. I don't know what it is. I just sometimes think Mane's just a better option. I really do. I mean, regarding the double game week players, I think the three I've got up on screen at the moment, Ederson, De Bruyne, Aguero, I actually think they're the safest of the three. I think, well, there's no thinking about it. I know Ederson is going to start both games, so that's 180 minutes. De Bruyne, he'll start both games, and I think across both fixtures he will be subbed off at approximately the 20th minute mark. So what's that, 140 minutes, give or take? Aguero, from my point of view, is just a defensive block. I am just going defensively with that. And happy to have Aguero, captain him. Go with what would appear to be, what's probably going to be the most popular captain choice in Aguero. Across the two fixtures, he'll play both games. I think he'll start against Arsenal. Depending on what the scoreline will be, he'll come off after like the 60th, 70th minute mark. And then in the Burnley game, once again, I reckon he'll play. And I reckon again, once again, he'll get 50, 60 minutes. See what he can do. I do think, though, that Arsenal are going to do really well across... Arsenal. I think Man City are going to do really, really well across these two fixtures. They're going to get a minimum of 4 against Burnley. Minimum of 4. Against Arsenal, I think there's a very, very high chance of getting at least 2. And then anything after that will be a bonus. I mean, me personally, I'm predicting 3-1 against Arsenal. It may be 3-0. You may notice that I haven't got any Arsenal in that team whatsoever. It's for the simple fact that, number one, I'm basing it on what Dan said last night as an Arsenal supporter. Also, friends at work saying that Arsenal, these particular 2 game weeks, could struggle. Man City specifically, a couple of people saying that they think they're going to absolutely get annihilated. I mean, 3-1 isn't exactly suggesting an annihilation, but it's still a heavy loss. Against Brighton, as Dan mentioned, they always find it tough. What was he said? They drew 0-0, 1-1 this season so far, last time they played each other. They're fighting for survival. I just look at it and I think there are some single game week players which I think could have a higher chance of scoring better than Aubameyang. Again, Davy P making the point, that exact point, that are we once again overlooking those single game week players? And up on screen here, single game week wise, I mean, I could only afford a cheap goalkeeper, so I've just gone with Ramsdale for sake of it. I'm not bringing in Aston Villa. Like I say, absolute pants. Lascelles at home to Newcastle. I think there's a very high chance of him keeping a clean sheet in that. Like I said, I can see that being 0-0, 1-0 either way. If both teams are to score, I think low scoring 1-1, 2-1, something. It's going to be a drab game. I've gone all in on Wolves. Jota, Traore, Bowley. They're up against West Ham. West Ham are useless. Wolves have got everything to play for. As I brought up last night regarding the the league table, and as I bring it up here on screen, Wolves have got to be in with a chance, if it comes up. I've got to be in with a chance of going for that Champions League spot, and I do think that their manager will absolutely be thinking, you know what, this could be our chance to get 5th, depending on this whole Man City thing. But just setting all that aside, they're only 5 points off Chelsea. Chelsea could potentially slip up. Wolves are an excellent team. They're up against West Ham. West Ham fighting for their lives, but I just don't think they've got the cojones for the fight. I just think West Ham are useless. Bottlers is the word I'm looking for. And Wolves here, I think Nuno's just going to be thinking, you know what? Let's go for it. Jota, as we all know, in form, or he was in form, towards the back end of the seasons. He always does really, really well. Traoré, we all know what you get from Traoré. Bowley, just for a cheap defensive option from Wolves. Happily take him. He's guaranteed starter. You're then looking at Vardy away at Watford. I can see that being a high-scoring game. Once again, Leicester and Wolves caught up in a Leicester and Man City caught up in a bit of a battle there. Second and third, where Leicester are only 4 points behind City, and if City do what I think they're going to do, which is concentrate on Champions League, and there's a chance that they could be rotating. Could it backfire on them? There's a possibility. They ain't going to drop out of the Champions League spot, albeit this whole situation regarding them potentially being kicked out of Europe or not, or they are being kicked out of Europe. Leicester could take advantage of the fact that Man City may play weakened squads. I mean, Man City's upcoming fixtures, if we're to look at them quickly, I mean, I don't know them off the top of my head, but let's just quickly look at Man City's upcoming fixtures. So I think they'll start off with full strength squads versus Arsenal and Burnley. I think there's a very, very high chance of full strength squads. Get the 6 points, just get the 6 points and almost be happy with that. And then Chelsea, Liverpool. Well, I've already discussed this about Liverpool game. I think that's going to be a damp squid. Chelsea, once again, he may put out a full strength squad, but then this is when the rotation is going to be kicking in. Southampton, Newcastle, Brighton, Bournemouth, Watford, Norwich. All 6 fixtures there. He could play a B or a C team in those fixtures. Now, this Champions League is going to be taking place, in August? Will he be using this as a way in which he's going to use it for pre-season? Almost. Apart from the fact that it's competitive matches, maybe. Just don't think he's going to want to risk any of his big players like Aguero, Kevin De Bruyne, Laporte. So the key players for Man City. I think there's a chance that Leicester could take advantage. And once again, there are teams here, like I've already mentioned, like Leicester, that are going to have to go hell for leather to get into the second spot. They're going to want some pride here. Brendan Rodgers isn't going to be thinking, you know what, I'll just give up. I don't want to do that. I want to get second spot. And Watford, yeah, tough team. I think Leicester have got enough to beat them pretty comfortably. I would think Leicester scoring 3 goals, and of course, like I said, Jamie Vardy being the talisman for that team. We've got him there. Fernandes. I was looking at maybe going Vardy, Kane, and Aguero. The only way I could afford that is if I got rid of Mane, but I've already said to you why I'd consider keeping Mane. Fernandes, I think the Tottenham United game, a bit like the Man City Liverpool game, could go either way. It could be really, really tight and boring, or it could be really, really open. So it's really weird because it does feel like it's just like a 9-game week season. I am finding it very strange, this whole comeback for the Premier League. The whole comeback, obviously, the tie-in with fantasy football. We're all treating it as if it's just brand new. It really does feel like everybody's forgotten about what's happened beforehand. All the mini leagues, all the talk, anything you're involved in prior to it all ending. It's like that's all been forgotten. And we're all going into this with just a complete fresh mind. I know Jason is somebody which is... He's got no chips apart from bench boost, and he's going all in, virtually, for this double game week. But of course, like people mentioned to him, what about the future game weeks? Game weeks 31 to 39. Do you really want to be loading up on Aston Villa, Sheffield United, Arsenal, when there are better options out there from teams with better fixtures? It is nice that I'm in a privileged position where I have got the opportunity to just use my unlimited transfers and use whatever chip I want. I mean, if I bring up my team now, I'm sure most of you know it off by heart more than me, but this is my actual team now. For people listening in on audio, we have got Leno in goal, Bulldog, Alexander-Arnold, Egan, De Bruyne, Sterling, Fleck, Grealish, Fernandes, Aguero, Aubameyang. And as you can see there, the older triple captaincy. But is it worth? This is what I'm thinking. Is it really worth? Is it going to give me any advantage using the triple captaincy? Something that I always say. And here we go. My own advice. Am I going to be listening to it? Nah. Why would I? There's no point in using a triple captaincy chip on the most popular player going into a double game week, especially if everybody's going to captain him, because you're only going to make up, that extra 5, 10, 15 points on top. Whereas, if you're looking at a bench boost, and for argument's sake, you still captain Aguero, or I still captain Aguero, but for argument's sake, my bench boost players, in this case being, off the top of my head, Mane, Vardy, Bowley, and Ramsdale, well, I genuinely can envisage that Bournemouth Crystal Palace game being 0-0. I really can. Or maybe even a clean sheet to Bournemouth, then winning 1-2-0. So that's 6 points off the bat for Ramsdale. Mane versus Everton. Let's just for argument's sake, just give him a goal. There's 5 points, including appearance. That's 7. You then throw into account Jota away at West Ham. Once again, let's give them a goal. 5, 6, 7. So what's that? 14, 15... No, that's 20 points alone. And then you throw in Vardy. Once again, it's the usual line of give them a goal. That's 6 points total. That's not even including bonus. That's 26 points potentially. And that's being, giving them each a goal, a clean sheet, for example. Or Bowley, for example, getting a clean sheet. Whatever. Either way you look at it, there's a higher chance of me getting more points from a bench boost than there is triple captaincy Aguero. Because the reality is that I think personally, going on this, I think personally Aguero will score quite well. I'm thinking maybe, let's just say for argument's sake, 1 goal versus Arsenal plus an assist. So that's 2 points for appearance, 4 for a goal, 3 for the assist. And then against Brighton, once again, against Burnley, let's just say maximum that he gets is a hat-trick. So that's +6, +6, +4, +4, +4, plus the 2 appearance points, and then we'll throw in, for argument's sake, a total of 4 bonus points. +4. That's a total of 27 points. Times that by 2, 31, and then plus 27 on top of that. So really, from the most optimistic point of view possible, I'm looking at maybe losing out or maybe gaining 1 1 or 2 points or losing out on 1 or 2 points if I triple captain Aguero. And that's going with the safety. However, if I use that triple captaincy like Davey P's thinking of, and I did it last season, it was a complete fail, mind, but if I was doing Davey P and put it on the final day of the season, or even maybe game week 31, 32, where actually I could get real benefits from that, then maybe I should actually use the bench boost in game week tomorrow. It's an interesting one. Anyhow, we have our first caller live on air. Like I said, the waiting room is open. If anybody wants to join in, you're more than welcome to. Get in on the discussion. Chat with us. Chat with me. It's King Kun. He is the biggest fan of Aguero. Let's find out what King Kun has to say, because I have a feeling that he's probably going to tell us all that Aguero is the man, like he always does. Aguero is the one to be getting in. Just need to... It's amazing, isn't it? All these icons coming up on Discord. Go away. I don't need you on there. So let's just do the old line. I bet you've all missed this. Let's pop in the old headphones. And let's see what King Kun has to say about game week 30 onwards. Good morning, King Kun. King Kun, you are live on air with myself, Steve-O.
How are you, Steve-O?
Hey,
how you been?
There we are. Going with your namesake there, I've just gone off with my potential predictions of Aguero possibility getting 4 goals and an assist across the 2 game weeks. Your thoughts on Aguero and triple captaincy?
Yeah, I think it's a good triple captain this week. No one has that chip now, especially this late in the game. And if he pops a 35 or a 30-point call, that's like 90 points.
But do you think, though, that the fact that I've got the dilemma of maybe being able to play the bench boost and get possibly better single game week players that could, in total, maybe get 1 or 2 extra points on top of that triple captaincy pick? Because I'll be captain Aguero anyway, and use the triple captaincy further down the line. Do you think that's a better strategy, or do you just think, no, just go with what you've done in the first place, stick with this team, and go with the triple captaincy?
I don't know, Steve, man. To be honest, that Arsenal game could finish 5-4 or something stupid. Like, I can't see like the league becoming like. I think there's just going to be goals in every game. Right.
Okay. Just a quick one, Antonio. The idea of these live shows in the morning from a UK perspective is that we're wanting to accommodate for people like yourself in different countries across the world, and yet you're up at, it's 3 a.m. in Trinidad and Tobago. My goodness. Welcome, pal. Welcome to the show, man. And Mr. Bluenate, Mr. Timestamp saying, how's the weather over there? Hello, Arman. Well, by the way, hello everybody joining us. So, King Kun, are you excited for the next, well, not just the next 9 game weeks, but the opening fixtures tomorrow evening?
Yeah, it should be interesting, but I'm in that state where I was scouting for next season, like I was saying last time. But yeah, it should be fun actually to have the Premier League back.
What are you actually doing about this game week 30? What's your position basically with all of this?
Yeah, I'm in a really tough spot because I don't have a wild card and I've got only bench boost left. But I'm bench boosting a team that's gonna go into 31 as well. So I don't know. I'm a bit iffy on Arsenal players and Aston Villa. You know, I think like Like a Mason Mount or a William could outscore a McGinn or a Grealish with 2 games. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, I actually, funny enough, I was thinking that earlier on. Are we overlooking the single? Well, Davy P is the prime example. He's the only one that when he came onto our show the other day, he was the only one that came into it saying, I'm just using unlimited transfers to stock up for the preceding 3 or 4 game weeks because he thinks that the single game week players have got better opportunities to score more points. As I mentioned earlier on, I think there are certainly teams like, for example, Leicester, you mentioned Chelsea, Liverpool, even Norwich, possibly, and Man United, Spurs. There are some single game week players here which could easily outscore, like you mentioned, Arsenal and Aston Villa. I mean, everybody seems to be... Do you think most people in general are just blinded by the double game week title because of what it potentially gives you, 2 games basically? But reality being is that we're looking at players like Grealish, McGinn, Target, Rayner, Mings, Pepe, Ozil. They've done jack all season, and yet all of a sudden, because it's a double game week, albeit the circumstances slightly different, we don't know what we're going into. Do you think that actually you're better off just picking established players like Vardy, Maddison, Mason Mount, Willian, Pulisic, etc.?
Yeah, it's 2 sides to the coin. You could argue both cases, but with people that played the game long enough know that every year there's always a team that fails in a double game week, and people like Brighton last year with the Dunks and who was the other defenders they had. It just happens. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, basically, I agree with you. So, come on then, give us your predictions, right, off the top of your head when it comes to Aston Villa, Sheffield United, Man City, Arsenal, the Sheffield United, Newcastle, and Aston. Well, essentially, what are your predictions on the double game week teams in their matches? Go for it.
So I got Arsenal to lose to Man City about 3-1, 4-1, something like that, and I got Brighton to beat Arsenal.
Are you there?
Yeah, I got Brighton to beat Arsenal because if you just look at because you probably got the fixtures up. Look at Brighton's fixtures after Arsenal. They're horrific. It's like the FA Cup final for them.
What makes you think that though that Brighton are, apart from the fact that their fixtures are horrific, do you think though then that this is obviously the best opportunity then for essentially Brighton to take advantage of quote unquote an easy team?
No, it's not an easy team. They got what, 2 games in 4 days or something, Arsenal, or 5 days or whatever it is. But this game for Brighton is big. It's a really big game for them because if they lose, then they got to go to Leicester. I don't know. Their fixtures don't look great, and they did draw to them at the Etihad in the return fixture. So I like Brighton to beat Arsenal for some reason. I think it's a really big game for relegation.
Do you think though then that getting rid of essentially getting rid of Aubameyang to free up funds is probably one of the potentially a really, really good decision to be going with?
You actually don't have Aubameyang.
Okay. Who can you post your team in team screenshots, please, and then we'll be able to look at the team that if you've got a team to look at.
Can we go through a few games? I'll post.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can. Just stick it in team screenshots. So, King Kun is thinking that this is essentially a FA Cup, well, a final in any form, whatever you want to call it. Mainly because if we look at as King Kun has just mentioned, looking at their upcoming fixtures. So I'll just bring it up on screen now. Brighton's upcoming fixtures. So it is as follows. Arsenal, as we all know, and then it's Leicester, Man U, Norwich. Yeah, they're awful. They're going to be obviously fighting for relegation to stay up. Norwich, Southampton, Newcastle, Burnley are going to be their best opportunities if you'd like to think to get a maximum of 12 points, possibly. As King Khan just said, Arsenal, they could be tired. It's a few days later after their initial fixture. And it's all a case of go hell for leather. Could they? Could they do anything versus... I mean, people in chat, I mean, what do you think on King Khan? I mean, Mr. Blue Nathan's saying that I see possibly a 2-2. Of course, Aubameyang could easily score those 2 goals. I mean, we do get blasé regarding, you know, a team may win and the opposition may score. But in the opposition could get, like in Aubameyang's case, could get 2 goals, potentially. Even if they lost 3-2, Aubameyang could be the man that gets 2 goals. There was talk about, obviously, people potentially captaining Aubameyang. J-Boy saying 3-1. Arsenal saying... Drazera saying 3-1.
Yeah, well, Steve, when's the last time Arsenal's actually won away from home?
Slight different circumstances. It's not in front of a crowd. And you mentioned earlier on that you're expecting lots and lots of goals. I'm kind of in the same ballpark. I'm thinking that there could be a lot of goals as well. Do you keep up to date with Bundesliga or La Liga or anything like that?
Yeah, it's been some sort of... There's been a lot of goals in the Bundesliga. It's like no advantage pretty much for the away team, for the home team.
So are you expecting there essentially to be goals galore for the, let's be honest here, the big teams versus the rubbish teams, and then the other ones, for argument's sake, Newcastle versus Sheffield United, just being very, very low scoring? Because I've noticed like there's a lot of 1-0s, 1-1s in teams like that.
Yeah, it should. I don't know. It should be like what you're saying, but we don't know how it will pan out. You know, it's different with the crowd. There is a difference when you play home with a crowd and when you don't.
Yeah, have you posted your? Are you going to post your team screenshots?
Yeah, just a sec. Sorry, it's coming now.
We want to go for your team, King Kong, because it's going to be really interesting to see someone with no chips apart from bench boost playing.
Yeah, I'll post it now. I'll be in Discord in 10 seconds.
Drazera saying more subs equals more rotation, and Arsenal have got a bigger squad. They will have competitive sharpness versus Brighton, but it is very hard to predict. It is very hard to predict, but you could say that for anything, to be honest with you. You know, no one's an expert when it comes to predictions. It's very, very difficult, like we just mentioned, regarding like the Bundesliga, La Liga. It just seems like the big teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund seem to be scoring lots of goals. It may be a chance that the opening couple of games regarding these big teams could be scoring heavily, and then they just ease off the gas a bit as they continue throughout the rest of the games, as like Drazer has mentioned, with the amount of fixture congestion coming through. It is very, very difficult to work out. I mean, I'm really excited for like a rotation point of view. Would you argue, King Kun, that it's best when moving forward with our squads, people like myself, going with, as I've mentioned 1,000 times, talisman of teams?
Yeah, I agree with that, with talisman picks. But the thing is, I was looking at John McGinn and Jack Grealish, right? Now, up until like Gameweek 17, before McGinn got injured, right? They were averaging about McGinn was averaging about 3.5 points per game. Grealish is about 3.8. So there isn't much difference between the two of them. And one's priced a little bit cheaper than the other. So that's why I've gone McGinn.
The news.
What are your thoughts on them two?
You're not worried what Dean Smith said in the press conference, that he's concerned that McGinn's been out of action for 6 months. I mean, he's worried the fact that his own players that have been fully fit have been only in training for 2 to 3 weeks. But someone like McGinn has lost 6 months, and then you throw on top of the fact that he's only just got back to training. Does that not concern you?
Yeah, it concerns me. But if they want to get out of the relegation, they need him. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely concur with that. I do agree that McGinn is one of the key players, along with.
I just posted it in the.
Yeah,
team screen,
I've got it up on screen right now, my friend. So this is your team, and just to remind the audience specifically your situation regarding chips and how you've been doing transfers building up to this particular game week before it was launched. If you know, essentially, have you been slow wildcarding, or have you just completely forgotten about the game?
No, I actually just used the unlimited transfers. Actually, to be honest,
So you haven't
I'm gonna
touched the
bench
team at all?
boost, but I'm gonna bench boost. But the problem is, I don't want to be stuck with Aston Villa players. So that's the problem.
So for people
And
listening
then
in an audio, we've got Henderson in goal, Doherty, Lundstram, Justin, Barnes, De Bruyne, Sterling, Willian, Vardy, Aguero, Jota, Patrizio, McGinn, Lascelles, Egan. This will be a bench boost. Funny enough, in fact, that is very, very, very similar in a way to the team that I was kind of playing around with regarding a bench boost. You've gone heavy on Leicester. Give us your thoughts into why Leicester.
I think they got a tough run. And what are they in front of Chelsea and Man United? It's going to be Leicester's got some tough fixtures later on at the end of the year. So I think they need to get a few points on the board for that fourth spot.
Well, to be fair, Leicester aren't. They're pretty much safe for fourth. They are. If I just bring it up on screen here, they've pretty much cemented their Champions League spot. They're 5 points clear of Chelsea, and they're 8 points clear of United in fifth. They're only 4 points behind Man City for second. I think they're going to be okay, but do you agree with me, though, that actually Brendan Rodgers is going to be wanting to try and take advantage of the Man City situation with the fact that there's a potential of rotation there, and just think, do you know what, if we win the remaining 9 games, we could get second here.
Yeah, but we don't know if their ban's going to get overturned or not. You know, you can't rely on that.
We
right
don't,
now, Leicester's third.
But what I'm saying
Right.
is that Man City going to put all their eggs in one basket regarding Champions League and possibly FA Cup as well. And like I said, with the so-called easy fixtures that Man City have got for the last 4 or 5 games, there could be a chance that they could slip up, and Leicester could take advantage of this.
Yeah, they probably could, Steve. I understand what you're saying, but like Manchester City is guaranteed to be second or third, right? But the
Pretty
problem
much.
is, look at Leicester's fixtures and tell me how many wins they get.
Well, let's bring it up on screen here, shall we? So Leicester City, obviously their first match away at Watford, I just mentioned. I think that could be a tight game, but I think Leicester should come out on top of that with a 2-3-1, something like that. Brighton, I think that's a comfortable. Everton's should do okay in that. Crystal Palace again. They've actually not got so bad. It's the Man United, Tottenham, Sheffield United games that are probably their hardest fixtures. Arsenal, they always seem to do well against. Bournemouth, well, depending on what their situation is, I can see them getting 3 points. Really, I could see them winning their next 6 fixtures, to be fair. You're confident with, well, let's be honest here, with Harvey Barnes and Vardy and this James. I mean, James is somebody which everybody keeps banging on about here. You're confident that he will start with the fact that Pereira isn't going to be playing?
Yeah, I think he can play on both sides as well. He's played on the left before when Chilwell was out, so I think he can play on either side. So I think he's a certainty to play.
The team that you've got...
He's come on. Yeah, go on, Steve. Sorry.
No, you carry on. He's come on, yeah.
No, I was saying that he's come on for Chilwell and played a few games. So when he's been injured.
Yeah, and it's
So I think he's doing.
I keep forgetting his name's Justin, not I keep thinking of Reece James. It's Justin, of course. I've got to say, King Kun. I mean, looking at this team here, I really do like it from a bench boost point of view. You've got some excellent players in there, all key talisman. You've loaded up on what you need to do with the triple City. You've got the triple Sheffield United defence, basically. The single game week players have all got excellent fixtures. Again, the Lascelles pick. It's almost as if like you've been reading my mind and you've just gone with the players which I was potentially going with. The Sterling pick though. Are you concerned, like a lot of people, that there's a chance that actually he may not start any of the games and he'll be playing someone like potentially Sane, Mahrez, I don't know, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, whoever, Jesus, and just sit Sterling on the sidelines? Or do you think actually no, Sterling's going to be eager to go, a bit like Harry Kane, and come out the blocks and just absolutely smash it?
Yeah, I was pretty high on Sane, but it's like a done deal that he's going to Germany, so I don't think Pep will play him at all now. So I think Sterling. I don't know who takes Sterling's spot unless Mahrez plays. So I don't know. Now with these 5 subs, pretty much everyone's going to play. Which means that.
Well,
yeah, sorry, Con.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Andy on Let's Talk FPL was actually saying that because of this 5 substitution rule, actually, we could actually have first teamers start every single game and easily be able to take off essentially half the squad throughout the fixtures. So actually, throwing in a bit of a curveball, throwing in a bit of a grenade, actually, could we be overthinking this, and actually teams like Man City could actually start every single game with a full strength squad, and by like the 50-60 minute mark start taking off the key players like the 3 here that you've got, and then I don't know, players like Laporte and whoever else.
Yeah, it could be, or Pep could decide he doesn't like the rules and he'll make only 1 sub or 2 subs, you know. So who knows?
What do you mean by that? Doesn't like the rule? What do you mean?
Well, he's like that. He's a bit pragmatic kind of manager, and so he could say, "No, I want to use 3 subs instead of 5." But I don't know. He's got people. He's like that. I don't know. So who knows if he follows the rules or not? But logically, since the title's over, he should be putting players on that haven't had a chance.
The team here you've got here, right? Be honest. Are you set on it, or are there a few players in there which you're concerned about, which you just are kind of toying with?
Yeah, McGinn's one that I'm a bit iffy on. I had to buy Patricio because I don't believe in any other goalkeeper, because Henderson misses the next one, I think. I think it's just I think Wolves are a really, really good squad. They're actually one of my favourite teams this year. They're just solid. I don't know how to explain it. They're just a really good team. And I can see him winning the next 3-4 games. So the only reason I went Jota instead of Jimenez, because apparently he's having a kid. He could not play this Saturday or Sunday, whenever they're playing. I think his wife's pregnant, so he might not play.
For argument's sake, this is just a hypothetical question, but it's always worth asking these questions. For argument's sake, if you had all your chips in play, right? Let's just say you had a wild card. Would you actually be going more all in on this double game week, or would you still be settling on a team like this? How would you be playing it if you had all your chips?
If I had all my chips, I probably would have played triple captain.
Okay. So, right. And you'd be sticking on Aguero, I'm assuming, obviously.
Yeah, Aguero, because he could go bananas this week.
So I predicted 4 goals and assist. What are you thinking then he's going to get across the 2 fixtures?
And probably 3 goals and assists, somewhere around there. 2.5, 2 goals, 3 assists, something. Who knows what he could get?
Because you're a massive advocate of Aguero, aren't you? Hence the name. You're a massive fan of his, aren't you?
He's just a great player in the game. When you put the C on him and no one has him, it's like a disaster for him. He's such a player that can boost your rank so quick. There's no other player like that in the game. Maybe Alonso can as well, but
De Bruyne, no one seems to be mentioning the fact that they're going to even captain him. Has he ever the thought of that crossed your mind, or do you just think, no, it's always going to be Aguero for me?
there was actually one thing that crossed my mind this week. I've been thinking of playing David Silva for last 3 days. I've been sleeping on it. I'm like, listen, this guy's got 8 games till he retires from the club. They might give him some games. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. What do you think?
Well, you've just mentioned he's only got 8 more games left for whatever it is, 8, 9 games. But essentially, the remainder of this season. Will Pep Guardiola just think for I've forgotten the word now, nostalgic sake? Let's just play him in the team. He's an excellent player. Would you really take him over Sterling or De Bruyne though? Sterling, maybe, probably.
Yeah, I'll take him over Sterling because then it frees up funds to make a Willian into a Salah or a Mane or something.
How much is he? 7 point something?
No, I've got no idea how much he is, but I'm going away from Sane anyway. So.
Well, Sane is a name that keeps cropping up for a lot of people. I know Serge on Planet FPL. He's actually taking a punt on Sane. Your thoughts on Sane, and do you think he's as much risk of being rotated as Sterling? Do you think that, like me, with all this talk of Bayern Munich and everything, Pep's just going to go, nah, forget it, mate. I ain't going to give you a pre-season. You can just sit on the bench. What are your thoughts on Sane?
Well, I don't know if Pep. Who knows if Pep Guardiola is the manager next season of Man City, then he shouldn't play Sane if he's leaving. But if he's not the manager, then he'll probably play him. Who knows? Like, it's a tough one to really digest. I don't know. What do you think? Do you reckon he'll play him, even though he's immoral to leave?
Obviously, I'm stating the blinking obvious. If we hear news that Sane is playing in friendlies, if he's doing well in friendlies, I think that there's a very, 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 very good chance that I may take Sterling out and go with Sane. Because Sterling just annoys me. I just get so annoyed owning Sterling. I remember last season when I captained him, funny enough, in that double game week, and versus Man United, we were commentating on the game, we were covering it, and I was getting so frustrated at the fact that Sterling had so many opportunities in that game in the first half, he couldn't do anything with it. And I'm just thinking maybe that Pep may just think, you know what, Sane, quality player, can do really, really well for us. And I mean, yeah, I would certainly think, I think the Pep Guardiola's got his press conference today. I think certainly I'll be listening up, well, not listening out for it, but I'll be certainly reading up on that and seeing what he says about Sane.
Yeah, but I think Sane is first best 11 anyways, in my opinion, in that side. But who knows, maybe he's going to keep him for Champions League. They play maybe a good team, but I don't know. There's so many options. You got Mahrez, Sane, Bernardo Silva. I don't know. There's too many players. Sterling's got his own position on the other side, So it's very hard for him to get. He's been pretty poor this year, but even Jesus could play on the left instead of Sterling. We don't know.
Blonde FPL's asking an interesting question. Blonde FPL, if you're a female and you want to join us live on air, it'd be nice to get a female caller on. You're more than welcome to. But anyway, will Pep Guardiola want to embarrass Arteta, or will the match be more like a Community Shield game? What do you think on that?
No, I don't think it would embarrass him, but who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if Man City lost, to be honest.
Eh? Say that again. You think there's a
Not
chance?
lose, not lose, but who knows? Like it's like they don't even want to. They're on holidays or something. I don't know, man. I'm overthinking everything.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, up on screen at the moment is my team, and that's pretty much about a standard template, give or take, as you're going to get. We've got Leno. I can't even read my own team. I'm sure that's Bulldog. Bulldog, yeah. Alexander-Arnold, Egan, De Bruyne, Sterling, Fleck, Grealish, Fernandes, Aguero, Aubameyang. Do you think for people like me, it's worth going with that quote-unquote safety option by sticking with those pretty much those players that the majority are picking, and then maybe have the odd player here or there which are a bit of a differential, i.e. Fleck and Fernandes?
No, your team's great. It's just I can't fit Man United assets because I'm going to be shifting into them next week anyway.
Yeah.
I want Martial and Rashford particularly. I don't know.
Rashford's a name that we don't hear. Why Rashford?
I'm a bit iffy. I think Man United are gonna win a lot of games till the end of the season, and I'm a bit iffy on Bruno Fernandes. I'd rather have Martial. I know everyone likes him, but if Man United's gonna score and win games, Martial is gonna be involved. I think they need them both firing for him to get fourth.
Talking of Man United, obviously this is we're kind of previewing / predicting the upcoming game week here. Tottenham versus Man United. What are you expecting from that game? It ended, I think Man United won 2-0, I was reading the other day. Do you think that Jose Mourinho will be setting up shop to be trying to get a point here? It is really a Champions League kind of... not decider, but if Tottenham win, they will be clawing back points on United. How do you think this game will go?
Tottenham v Man United?
Yes.
Well, Tottenham's got everyone back, I think. Yeah?
That's right, yes, yeah. I was even looking at Kane, genuinely, as a single game weeker.
Yeah, what's he worth now, Kane?
10.8, I believe it is.
Yeah. Nah, not for me yet, but apparently he's been a bit fat when he come back, huh? Or that's not true?
Well,
Put on a bit of weight.
It depends It depends how people have been training during lockdown and everything. I mean, these are professional athletes at the end of the day, but when you've been doing this for literally, these people have been doing this, these footballers have been doing this since the age of 8 or 9, these top quality players. And when they get the opportunity to go on break, the reality is that they're just going to be like, I just want to eat McDonald's, burgers, chips, whatever. And I think that, quite a lot of these players, like, we heard reports the other day that Kevin De Bruyne may have, come back a bit chubby or whatever. You just mentioned Harry Kane and various other players. There's a chance that, they could be unfit, out of shape. These pre-season friendlies, so to speak, these behind closed door matches, obviously are going to be helping in a way to try and get match sharp fitness. And it goes back to my point that I do think that a lot of these games are going to be very friendly based, competitiveness to them. I think there'll be someone like Harry Kane. I think he's professional enough to be actually training properly, a bit like with Sterling. Players like that, I think that they're going to be behind the scenes, doing the work, really putting in the effort, and I wouldn't be worried about them from a physical condition, how it will affect their performance, because I think, like I said, those players will be putting in the work behind the scenes to come back to full fitness, essentially. Kane was, how long was Kane out for? 3 or 4 months with an injury? Was that what it was?
No, he was out for ages. I don't know. Probably ask Dre. He'll probably know. No, but I reckon it'll be a tight game. I'm gonna go with If Rashford plays, I think Man United win. Is he going to play or not?
Well, you'd like to think so. I mean, Notorious Noah making a point here. I've got Triple United on Martial, Fernandes, Maguire for 31 onwards. A midfielder with set pieces, a nailed centre-back with goal threats. Man United moving forward, you've already made the point that, you know, they're looking really, really good. Rashford, I mean, he's been all in the news over here regarding his charity work and everything. He's back fit. He's their main striker. I've been told, well, there's no been told about it. I've read that from The Athletic that apparently Pogba won't be starting against Spurs. So you'd like to think that Rashford will come back. And
Oh, that's a big out. That's a big out. I changed my score. I would say draw 1-1 now if Pogba's out.
oh, why'd you say that?
Because now I think Pogba needs to play with Bruno Fernandes. I think they're more of a bit better. They're more threat of a team. It's hard to win away in the Premier League anyway. So I think Pogba gives them that little bit more edge.
That's an interesting thought process. So a bit of a fun question here. Have you been playing any of these Champs Manager or Virtual FPL during this pandemic? Or have you...
No, I didn't get on the virtual. I was watching you guys play it. Did you guys have fun playing the virtual Premier League? Or
Yes, it was. I'll be certainly whenever they next do it, which will probably be in, I don't know, next summer. I would highly recommend everybody participate in it. It's just fun because it's so simple. It's just fantasy football, but based on an algorithm.
yeah,
It's just a laugh, and when you put some competitiveness in it, as you probably saw with my videos and everything, you get annoyed by it, you know, and it's all fun, it's all laughing games, you know. I'm not gonna I don't stress over it or anything, and
it looked fun, but it'll be pretty big next season if it happens, because a lot of people have seen it, but haven't played it.
yes. And what's good is that it's based all on the prices of this game, of FPL itself. They make it very, very simple. So, and there's no price change. I think the biggest plus for me in that game is the fact there's no price changes, which for me is probably the biggest stress in this game, because you're always worried about like maybe missing out on a player because you didn't buy him on Monday and you miss out on 0.1 on him, and then he goes and scores a goal and you just like, I just bite the bullet and bring him in. With Virtual FPL or even Champs Manager, I didn't play that, but there's no price changes, and it's just it's really simple to set up teams. But the reason why I bring that up is because, again, I don't want to reference it, but again, I watch his stuff. Andy on Let's Talk FPL. I haven't actually mentioned Planet FPL. Let's get him in there. No, but in all seriousness, Andy was making the point that actually what virtual FPL has taught him, and it's taught me, is that, you know what, just go for it, just enjoy it. I mean, I'm not being funny, but you're quite notorious for taking a few risks here or there in this particular game. Do you think over the next 9 game weeks it's going to be let's just have some fun with it? I mean, are you participating, or will you be participating in James Bang's mini league? I'm assuming you're going to get the invite.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I think your host Jason doesn't want to give the code out.
Oh, is he?
I don't know. Maybe if it's sent individually, hopefully we get it.
Well,
we'll participate in the big league.
Yeah, essentially we're sending the code out to basically regular members of the community like yourself and everything. I think what's best to do, maybe from your point of view, anybody listening now, is that if you are a regular and you want to receive the code for James Bang's mini league, really you want to be getting in touch with basically one of the moderators, i.e. Dre Zera, Daily Llama, Paulie, Resi Desi, someone like that, Jason himself, and send a message and see what they say, because really we're I'm going to say it as it is, like I always do. We're not wanting any old person just jumping in and thinking that they can just come in and not do anything. We've done various competitions on this show. Certain people have won, and we don't hear from them. They don't speak to us or anything like that. It's just like, what's the point in doing this competition if they're not even going to essentially just I don't know, just promote what we've done, or kind of like just interact with the community like you're doing now. You know, you're a regular member on the show, and I'd hate to think that you weren't to get an invite as an example. You know, I mean, even on the right hand side of my screen here, you know, I can see yourself, Sydney Hammer, Ryan, Arman, Dylan, Firetog. You know, I'd like to think all these guys will get an invite. I'd like to think they will. It's almost certain. But I'm not going to name them, but there's a couple of other people that I can see where I don't even recognise their name or anything. I rarely use Discord, but I know for a fact that there are certain people that are just, you know, lurking around and not actually participating in anything. It's just like, why do we want someone winning, you know, the money that's at stake here, and not actually talk to us about it or be part of the show? I just personally think it's wrong from that point of view. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but it's James Bang's money at the end of the day, and we've had long discussions with him, and I think that he's pretty much happy with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. It's all good. It's just Discord. Hopefully, Discord gets back to normal. Everyone's tuning in now, so it's looking good either way. So, what's your predictions on the games, Jace?
Yeah, just a quick one. You've got a fan here. Arioki is saying, "Is that King Kun on there?" So you got a bit of a fan there, Kun.
Yeah.
do you want to say hello to Arioki? Blow him a kiss.
Hello, Arioki.
See, he's another one that does. To be fair, you know, I mentioned this to Jason yesterday. There are people that come into the YouTube chat, which I know for a fact are regulars on the show. Me and Jason aren't idiots. You know, we receive various messages, basically, literally just saying, "Give me the code." Sorry, I don't even know who the hell you are. Clear off. You know, just it doesn't work like that. You know, if you basically, essentially, if anybody participates on Discord, and obviously the moderators know who those names are, if you participate in the YouTube chat, obviously the easiest way to contact us is through Discord or Twitter at Elite FPL. And that's really it, really. Or if you comment on our videos on YouTube and actually give us some feedback or whatever on a regular basis. I can name one, for example, Wayne Dean. That's 20 titles on Discord. You know, it's just basic respect for myself, Jason, and you guys. You know, but for people just to come out the woodworks, hear that there's a large amount of money at stake, and just come out the woodwork and go, "Oh, I want to be part of this league." No, it don't work like that. Clear off. I'm not interested. You know, and whether that annoys people or not, we don't want people like that around here. We want people like yourself, Kun, and the people that are watching this now, which are just being part of the show. And I'm fully aware, I'm going to do a Jason line here. I know there's a lot of you commenting and in the chat talking and everything. Obviously, respect to King Kun, I'm not just going to be constantly reading comments. I'll have a conversation with him. I can throw in the odd comment here or there if it has any relevance to what's going on with our conversation. But I do want to thank everybody that is coming along and watching us right now.
Yeah, there's a few questions about Lundstrom, guys. I reckon he plays both games. Sheffield United have to go to win game he's next to. So I think he plays both.
Oh, really? Yeah, there's a talk. What's his? I don't know his name. Sanderberg or Berg, whatever his bloody name is for Sheffield United. There's concern around the fact that he may not play because of him. But you think that Lundstrom's going to start?
Yeah, because Lundstrom plays when they try to win the games. When they try to defend against the bigger teams, I think Sander plays. So.
Wow.
I reckon if Sheffield, because Lundstrom's a goal threat, whereas Burge is more of a defensive midfielder, sort of. I don't know, he's more defensive player.
Well, Gianna Paolo was wondering, will the Lundstrom play? Gavin Gould, Lord will play one game, may play half the other. Notorious Nerd, he maybe play one game, but Lundstrom can get big returns. You've got Gravy Dave saying, I'm just going to be waiting on the team news to see if Lundy starts. John Harris, Lundstrom's going to be back in everybody's teams. Notorious just adding the fact that Lundstrom can get anything between 1 point up to 20 points. You think it's worth just going on? He's only 4.8, isn't he? 4.9?
Oh, you have to get Lundstrom in after, because Sheffield, if they want to get Europa League, they got to win away games, and he has to play because he's a goal scorer in that side.
So, would you recommend for someone like myself who has gone Bulldog, maybe just bringing in Lundstrom instead, just to save that a couple of million, 0.2 million or whatever it is?
Yeah, I went Lundstrom instead of Bulldog.
That's very, very interesting. Now, you were just asking about my predictions. Obviously, for anybody that's watching now, this is a big, long day for Elite FPL fans. If you are a fan of the show, I've got good news. So for anybody that's joining us now, just to let you know, this is the breakfast show with myself, Steve-O. This is mainly for it's not mainly for, but it's for the Southern Hemisphere fans like King Kun that are able to watch us live and participate in the show. Tonight, however, at 7 p.m, I'm back again. It's myself, Jason, Daily Llama. I'm really looking forward to having Daily Llama on the show because it's always nice chatting with him. The three of us will be together for, at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, discussing the upcoming game week, so Gameweek 30. But then we got another special guest hopefully coming on. You may have seen him on Saturday. Did you see Fire Tog, King Kun, on Saturday on the stream? Did you catch that? Where he's on the...
Yeah, I watched it.
On the Bermuda Islands with his beautiful sea view and everything. Yeah, he'll be joining us. And the reason why we're getting Fire Tog and Llama on is because we want them to discuss the Champions League tournament. Are you still in that, King Kun?
In which tournament?
The Champions League tournament.
Yeah, I got to beat Kurt this week, so who knows?
Ah, right, okay. So we're going to get a lot of news on that. I know there's a lot of people that are asking us questions about the Champions League. Now, Daily Llama was supposed to be doing a Llama Lounge last night, but due to other commitments, he couldn't do it. So I just messaged and just said, look, you may as well kill two birds with one stone here and join myself and Jason tonight, regarding the Champions League. So yeah, I would highly recommend everybody staying tuned for that. So yeah, tonight live at 7 p.m, myself, Jason, Daily Llama and Fire Talk are going to be going through everything. So that stream could be going on for a very, very long time. And then of course, Wednesday comes along. Oh, it's going to be mad. King Kun. It's a lot of content, isn't it?
Yeah, now especially.
It's going to be good.
All the games coming.
Now
teams, drafts.
Now you joined us this time last year, wasn't it? You kind of came across our channel this time last year. Yeah,
about the start of. I came in game week 1, just after the first game week finished. I joined Discord, so yeah, it's been about nearly 10 months, maybe around there.
Wow.
When did I see August? Yeah, about 10 months I've been in Discord.
And you've been, well, that's the thing. You're a massive fan of the Discord and everything. Do you want to tell anybody that is watching this now? For anybody that is watching this, is completely brand new to this stream, to all things Elite FPL. If you are brand new around here and you enjoy the content that myself and Jason produce, then you know what to do. Just simply hit the subscribe button. The breakfast shows will be coming on a more regular basis. I will be trying my hardest to set up a official timing, something like 7-8 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I highly recommend you hit that subscribe button and notification button for when we go live next for the breakfast show, because like I said, it is all for the Southern Hemisphere fans. But yeah, King Kun, you tell the people that don't know anything about our Discord and what you love so much about this.
Well, the Discord's amazing. It's got a lot of different characters inside with their different opinions, but friendly place, I guess, and all the information and tweets and stuff like that comes in pretty fast and rapid, and you get to know what's the right choice for your teams and stuff from other managers as well. So it's great what you guys have done for the community, and we're very appreciative. Everyone that's on it.
I've always wanted to ask this question. I'm sure I've asked you this 1,000 times, and it is a bit on the what's the word here? Just off the top of my head. And I always find it interesting. And if anybody else in chat wants to answer this question as well, so this is really one for you, King Khan, but it's also for anybody in chat. And thank you, Notorious Nerve, for the kind words there. Breakfast shows are much welcome. Cheers, dude. So, can you think of anything that any advice that someone's given you in Discord which has actually turned up trumps and you were really, really grateful to that individual for their help? Or have you ever helped anybody in the Discord which has, essentially helped them to go on to do better things with their team?
No, I don't know if I could help anyone, because I believe in taking hits. So I don't know. I learned from. It was an older guy. What was his name? Vince Chapman. Not to take so many hits. Not to take so many hits. But that's what I learned this season anyway. So shout out to Vince. I know you're in chat.
Vince. Oh man, Dylan, trust me, mate. That will be happening. I'm telling you now. This King Khan, you're going to love this, because I know I mentioned this on. In fact, Vince Chapman's here. Blimey. Vince, you've shown you're funny, that. Your biggest fan has been bigging you up, and then all of a sudden you come out of the blue. Vince Chapman is just saying, hey guys, hottest day in Norway that I can remember. So our man Dylan's saying here, we should be doing a head-to-head league, Northern Hemisphere versus Southern Hemisphere. Our man Dylan, next season, I think, again, this is just me being honest. I think that, in fact, that's just given me a thought. I think that personally, that next season is going to be massive. This specific season, the last 9 game weeks, I mentioned it earlier on, it's going to be a bit of a selfish one, where I think the majority of us, let's be honest here, are going to be concentrating on James Bang Mini League, if I'm completely honest. Certainly for people like me who've got absolutely nothing to play for in the Cash Mini League. I know a man, Dylan, who's top, is obviously going to be taking that seriously, but obviously that ties in with the actual James Bang Mini League. But we're all going to be concentrating mainly on our teams for the next 9 games. But it just brings me the attention to, so Andy, aka DGW30, he has contacted me, of course, regarding the community team. Now, the community team, for anyone that doesn't know, was set up at the start of the season, and it was just down to you guys. So if you go into if you're part of Discord and you go to the poll vote section, it's at the top on the left hand side, poll vote com team. You can all see it up on screen here on the left hand side. So Andy has kindly put up the link to the community team, which is your team. It's actually doing okay. I think it's something like 400,000th in the world. He's put up several polls here. So straight away, the first question is, please check the team above. Do you want to make changes before the beginning of the season? Overwhelmingly, the answer is yes. And obviously, he's asked several other questions that you need to vote in regarding the changes that you want to make to the team, specifically the unlimited transfer. I think that the community team's still got all its chips left as well. I could be completely wrong here. But I'm not going to lie, the unfortunate thing with this is that for people like me, is that it's not my biggest concern. It sounds awful to say that, but there's just so much things to talk about. We're very, very grateful to Andy for taking his time out to do it. And I am going to message him after this, actually, about something. But I highly recommend everybody just to show your support to Andy, a.k.a. DGW30. He comes in here on a regular basis, specifically at night, to help him out with the community team, which is on the left-hand screen menu. Poll vote team, as you can see here on screen, and just give him a vote and help him out decision-making regarding the community team. But going back to what a man Dylan was saying, regarding Northern versus Southern Hemisphere head-to-head league. So next season, I personally think that what's going to happen, and I don't know if you agree with me, King Kun, I think there's going to be a lot more rivalries at stake. I mean, straight away, I haven't seen this name for ages. Keyboy's here. Morning, Keyboy. Welcome, pal. I think next season there could be a lot of rivalry between the Southern and Northern Hemisphere fans, especially if the breakfast show starts taking off. And certain people like yourself, Keyboy, Statman, I mean, Kev, absolutely, Aussie Boy, various others. I reckon Harbour Boy, Gabriel De Rop, I think they could be ending up very much like me, getting really, really angry with the way the Northern Hemisphere fans treat us. I mean, what are your thoughts on next season, a Northern versus Southern Hemisphere community team each?
Yeah, I like I'm Team Steve anyway, so.
I think Jason will come up with something where it would be Team Steve-O versus Team Jason. I mean, there is a chance. Now, I'd have to put this to Jason. And again,
how would it work? How would it work? Is it one team or everyone's team?
Yeah, it would be one team. So very similar to the community team, but we'd actually do it live on air. And
yeah, I think we'll have punch-ons about players next year.
Well, this is my thought process. It's either going to be either myself and Jason do two separate teams, fair enough, or, and that's the Southern and the Northern Hemisphere teams, or I still use my account and I use that, my team now, Mosin Nagant, to be that Southern Hemisphere team. And Jason uses his as his Northern, because then it still has that rivalry between me and him. And I think it could get really heated. Dre Zera making the point, about the Davy P rivalry with Boona. And I'm not being funny, but I still think that's one of my favourite moments this season, where, Daily Llama did a Llama Lounge, having a bit of fun with it. Some of the questions were a bit safe, and then I don't know what happened, but I know for a fact that Boona started throwing in a few punches, and Davy P was just taking it, and then he just snapped, and it just got a bit heated on the Llama Lounge, and I just thought, this is what it's all about. Davy P's getting annoyed, Boona's rubbing it in, and I don't know why.
Yeah, they're two contrasting styles. Like Davy P is a safe player, and Boona's more of a maverick type of player that likes to put in a few moves that Davy would never suspect. So contrasting styles, and it's a good rivalry, I reckon.
It is a good, friendly rivalry. It's always... It is. It truly is. I mean, talking of Boona, Joe Page asking, what happened to Boona? When I watched before, he was always here. Essentially, I think Boona, in all seriousness, based on what I'm seeing, he's just got a lot of work at the moment. We're in a time now where it's like Jason, he's never been more busier. His work commitments and everything. So really, I think we will be hearing from Boona, but right now, I just think that it's going to be a bit of downtime for Boona now. I think that with this whole situation we're all in at the moment, I think he's just taken a step back from fantasy football, which makes complete sense. Dre Zera, regarding the Discord chat, he just said that there are so many people in the Elite FPL Discord community that are just extremely helpful. Dre Zera, please, if you've got any examples of where it's helped you, it'd be really, really interesting. Jim Parry, my advice to you is, can you message Jason? I'm not really the tech expert. I know that he sorted it out. So Jim Parry's just asking about the score predictor competition. I would highly recommend you speak to Jason. If you can tweet him or privately, or I know you're not on Discord because I know that Jason speaks to you a lot on here about the fact that you're not up to date with technology, which is fair enough. If you can, just contact us privately through Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, any of those platforms if you can. But I'm sure Jason will address that tonight. In fact, I'll make a note of that in a minute, and I will speak to Jason about that before we go live on air, and then he can address it for everybody. Because let's be honest here, Jim, I'm doing pretty well in that as well. So something that I'm actually okay at is predicting. So I'll be on top of that straight away. Vince saying you'll have to brush up on your accents, Steve-O, so not to let any spies from the north. I think I could pick up on English, Vince. That's all I'll say in here. Nathan Price, what I would do is what I would suggest to do is this: go in the Discord and upload that team and the Rate My Team, and there'll be lots of people able to give you advice on your specific team dilemma there. Mr. Blue Nathan making a point here. Yes, I was doing very well with my predictions, and it's just gone completely northern. Dan Briodi, morning. You're up early. It's 9:15, mate. I've been up since flaming 4:30 for pity's sake. What's the time over where you are, King? You're South Africa, aren't you?
No, I'm in Melbourne now, so it's 6:16.
6 what in the evening?
Yeah, 6:16 or whatever it is.
So
PM.
Ideal for you guys then. That's good. Colin the Moonwalkers, I'll ask you, Kun, asking about this Jimenez news about his pregnant wife. Do you want to just reiterate what you said and just elaborate on anything regarding Jimenez?
Yeah, he might miss the game because his wife's pregnant and due to have a kid, so he might not play. That's why I've gone Jota instead.
Vince Chapman is sending you some love. He says he loves you and he's sending you a kiss. So, there we are, King Khan. So you asked me about predictions for this particular game week, right then. So right, let's just quickly go through this then, shall we? Predictions for the upcoming game week. Now, once again, I don't want to keep banging on about this, but tonight, myself, Jason, Daily Llama will be going through this as well. But let's just quickly run through this. So, Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. Me personally, King Kun, I'm thinking this is going to be 2-1 either way, and I'm going to go in favour of Aston Villa 2-1. What do you think?
I don't know this game. I'll go. I agree with you. 2-1 Sheffield.
But you'll go with Sheffield United.
Yeah, Sheffield United.
2-1. Okay. We then move on to, well, we've already spoken about this in depth, but Man City versus Arsenal. I've already called it. I'm going 3-1 to Man City.
Yeah. I'll go 4-1. No, 4-0.
Oh, so you're expecting a clean sheet in that. Very, very nice. I know that a friend of mine, Ali, said that there's no chance that they're scoring against Man City, so you'll go 4-0. Beautiful. Now, this is a very tough game to call. It's Norwich versus Southampton, and I think that with Norwich having to fight for everything, I mean, admittedly, the news coming out about a certain player contracting you-know-what, we don't know who that is. How's that going to have an effect on the first team? No idea, but let's just take it as read that it's not going to affect them whatsoever. Do you know what, Kun? I think Norwich are going to win this, and I'm going to go, it's the usual line, I'm going to go 2-1 to Norwich.
Yeah. I'm going to go draw 1-1.
Danny Ings is somebody that's been mentioned a lot in here. Does he has he crossed your mind at all, or is it just nah, stay away?
No, not. I don't like Southampton. They need a win and a draw to be safe, so that could happen in the coming weeks. But I don't know. I don't like those middle tier teams at the end of the season anyway.
No, I was speaking with Dan. And morning, Dan. I can see you here, pal. I was speaking to Dan actually last night about the middle teams. So Crystal Palace, Burnley, Everton, and I've forgotten the other two, but just teams that have got nothing to play for. They just, for you, just avoid like the plague?
Yeah, avoid. They're on holiday, literally.
Do you think that they're going to be making wholesale changes to the team? I've already mentioned Burnley. I think that Burnley will be playing a lot of players which aren't going to be... They're going to be recognisable, but they're not going to be recognisable first teamers. Do you... So you just worry that there's going to be wholesale changes to these teams?
Well, probably not the first week, but like for some teams that are already like Everton or whatever, they could start doing it now, trying to find the next player, next decent young player, and play the youth how what Chelsea's done.
Notorious Nerd's been speaking about Man United. You've been speaking about Man United, potentially Rashford, Spurs. Of course, they're going to be wanting to try and get in those Champions League spots. Are they going to get a win here? I think they're going to cancel each other out. I think this is going to be a drab game. I really do. I think this is going to be 1-1.
Yeah, I was gonna go Man United, but someone said Pogba's not playing, so that changes the whole complexion for me. So I'm gonna go Spurs 2-1.
2-1 to Spurs. Watford, Leicester. I think this is going to be a tight game, but my scoreline isn't going to reflect it whatsoever. I think Leicester are going to edge this. I say edge this. They're going to come out on top of this. I think they're going to score 3 goals. I'm going to go 3-0. My first clean sheet. I'm going to go 3-0 to Leicester.
I was thinking the same, but I'm gonna go 2-0. So 2-0 Leicester.
Brighton, Arsenal. The Dan last night saying, of course, as we've already mentioned, that this could be a tight game. You saying this is going to be their cup final. I think Arsenal are going to come out on top of this pretty easily, and I'm going to 2-0, 3-0. I'm going to go 3-0. To hell with it. To Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm going 1-0 Brighton.
1-0 to Brighton. Dan, let's hear from you, mate. King Kun's saying 1-0 to Brighton.
This is the biggest game for them this season, I think, in my opinion.
West Ham versus Wolves. West Ham are absolutely useless. And I think Wolves are going to get a clean sheet here. And I'm going to go 3-0 to Wolves.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0 Wolves.
Now, surprise, surprise, the BBC have got a Premier League game, and it's one of the worst that you could probably get this particular game week. Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. The one match of all that pretty much nobody is going to have anybody playing. In fact, anybody in chat, let me know if you've got any Bournemouth or Crystal Palace players, because I don't think anybody will have anybody, and I think that from a fantasy football perspective, the first time we're going to have Premier League football on the BBC for God knows how many years, and it's got Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. I think this is going to be awful. I'm thinking, I initially said it, and I'm going to say it. I'm going 0-0.
Yeah, I know you hate Bournemouth, so I was flicking Wilson a couple times. I like Wilson, but I think Cherry is a 2-0. I like Bournemouth. I like teams that play actual football, not park the bus.
Newcastle versus Sheffield United. I said it earlier. I think this is going to be 0-0, 1-1, 1-0 either way. I'm going to go in favour of Newcastle. I'm going 1-0 to Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm going 0-0 that game. Maximum 2 shots on target.
Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Now, I actually find this quite difficult. I think this could be goals galore in this game. I really do. I think Chelsea are pants when it comes to defending. Aston Villa are pants when it comes to defending. And I'm going to go a high-scoring 3-2 here. But the question is which way. And I am going to go in favour of Chelsea. I'm going 3-2 to Chelsea.
Yeah, I think Chelsea's going to batter them, so I'm going to go 5-1.
Oh, 5-1. That's what I want to be hearing. The penultimate game of the weekend, it will be Everton. It's the Merseyside derby. It's Everton versus Liverpool. I think Liverpool, I've already said this. I'm going 3-0 to Liverpool. Con.
Yeah, I'm going 2-1 Liverpool.
And then the final game of the weekend, and I've already called this the other day. This could be any old scoreline. Just literally throw a ball in the air, and whatever number it lands on, just pick it. It's Man City versus Burnley. I think I'm just going to go 5-0 to Man City.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I like 5-0. I'll go 4-0.
You're going 4-0. If anybody, I know people have been predicting throughout the thing. Like I said, join us tonight, where Jason and Lama will give us their thoughts on everything. Keyboy saying, I'm just back from my weekly. See what Steve-O says. He'll do this game week, but doesn't do it. So I copy the idea and reap the rewards. Very good. Very good, my friend. Yes, we all remember that, don't we? The old Kevin De Bruyne show. But essentially, it's Captain Aguero, stick with this team here, and then I'll change it last minute, put it as a bench boost, go with a load of single game week players as I played it all around, and it all fails. So there we are, Keyboy. Go back to the beginning of the stream, you'll see it. Fire Talk, we were just talking about you, mate. Come back tonight, 9 o'clock. Morning all, it's 5 a.m. here. Go up to take a slash, and I find Elite FPL is going on again. Yeah. Robert Dinsmore, Steve-O, what's your opinion on not having Mane or Salah? Well, I discussed this at the start of the stream, and I'll say it again. I think that Mane or Salah could do really well. We've just said, I've just said 3-0 to Liverpool. Kun's going 2-1. What do you think, King Kun, on not having Mane or Salah this game week?
No, City players should outscore Liverpool, literally. So you can't have them both. You gotta pick one of them. So I think City is a better option, in my opinion. But who knows?
Dan making the point here, Steve-O, an absolute machine. Yeah, it's got to be done though, mate. We've got hopefully no internet issues at the moment, so let's all relax. Joe Page, Captain De Bruyne. King Kun, your thoughts on maybe going going De Bruyne captaincy?
Well, he's an option, but I can't do it. I can't watch the game if Aguero is playing and I don't have the say and he scored a hat-trick by the 25th minute. I'll kill myself.
Keyboy making the point here. All I'm saying is that you pointed out Kevin De Bruyne always got or gets double-digit score lines at home. Now he's got 2 games at home and he's not captain. Yes, Keyboy. So to be fair, Keyboy, I don't think I've ever said I'd captain De Bruyne. I think what I have said, and I know it's for fact, that before Jason did anything with his team, he already had Kevin De Bruyne in. And I remember saying at the time that what will happen is Jason won't touch his team with this unlimited transfer chip, and he'll just put it on Kevin De Bruyne, the captaincy, because it's the only man, and Kevin De Bruyne will explode. That's I know for a fact. I've said that over this particular game, but my immediate gut feeling was, particularly with this team in front of you, just Aguero captain, done. Marco Rebello saying I have Mane, Salah. Now you're not looking at chat, are you, King Kun?
Yeah, I am actually.
Oh, you may have missed it. And can you guess what Marco Rebello's third Liverpool asset is? He's already got Mane and Salah. Can you guess, or do you already know?
Yeah, I already know. It's
Henderson. What do you think of that Henderson pick?
I don't know. I can't. He's done all right this season. I could never put him in my team. I'd rather have Milner than Henderson.
Drazera saying here, 10 more likes to 50. If you haven't liked the stream already, hit the like button now. Let's get it to 50. Let's celebrate 50 likes. Dread FPL. Mate, Dread, I was doing an impression of you. Thier on. This is the Elite FPL impression of show after all. I'm currently on Kevin De Bruyne cap, although I have Aguero. Do you think that's a good move there from Dread FPL? Just going Kevin De Bruyne captaincy. He's pretty much one of the few people that is almost guaranteed over 160 minutes. Well, I'd like to think. What do you think on that?
Yeah, De Bruyne has been a good captain this year. I've never captained him all season, but what I learnt this season is De Bruyne at home is a viable captain, especially at home.
Lewis Kirkby, you're asking if we're taking callers. I don't know how you think King Kun is speaking to me, but yes, of course we're taking callers. If you want to quickly jump on, you're more than welcome to join me and King Kun. The only downside is that I'm kind of concerned about the internet issues. They are holding up, but yeah, Lewis Kirkby, if you want to jump into the waiting room, I'll happily bring you in and we'll have a discussion talking all thing fantasy football. You know what to do.
Steve, I've got a question for you. It's been popped up in chat. Can you...
Go for it, Kunya.
Oh no, I thought you were breaking up. With Tammy Abraham and Giroud, who do you think starts?
Tammy, just from a safety point of view. To be completely honest, I think from a safety point of view.
Chelsea was playing so well with Giroud before coronavirus happened. I don't know.
That's one of those questions where it is pretty much a case of just listen into the team conference from Chelsea, see what Lampard says. But I think he'll stick with Abraham. Davey FPL, I blame you, my friend.
Does Frank think, like, I got to go with these players that have done it before, Because if Chelsea miss top 4, that's a failed season. It's not a failed season, but
I agree. Yeah, Davey FPL, I blame you for potentially me bench boosting, looking at bench boosting this game week 30, because I listened to your show yesterday and I was like, you know what? Davey's onto something. Davey's bench boosting. A beautiful team. And I was even Andy was looking at bench boosting too. It's a very interesting option, Davey, because we've already discussed this. We're not going to go over it again, but there are a lot of single game weekers that have very good, solid returns. In fact, Davey, I'll be interested if you're still here. I'll bring up King Kun's team for you. Oh, let's bring on another. We'll bring on Dread FPL in a second. Once this loads up, which of course it doesn't. There we are. Right, so this is King Kun's team for everybody listening in for the bench boost, and I've got to say I really like it, to be honest with you. And Davey FPL, here it is. So Davey is still with us, and this is King Kun's team up on screen right now. And that's what he's going with, bench boosting. And there are lots of options from single game week players which I like the look of that are better than, for example, Arsenal. My argument being that it's the same with Kun here. Aston Villa are useless. Arsenal are useless. And teams like Leicester have got better opportunity to get better returns than these double game week players. And yeah, I'm going to bring on, I've just mentioned his name, and it's Dread FPL. So let's just so many notifications on here. Go away. I don't want to be looking at any of this. Hopefully I'll be able to bring on Dread FPL. So let's just hear his thoughts on, and I want to ask him a really random question as well. Hello, Dread. Dread, you are live on the Elite FPL Breakfast Show. Speak to us, my friend.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, there he is. This is going to be
Hello?
a really, really, really random question to you. You're not the guy that does the
Hello.
the Peep Show podcast, are you?
Hello?
Can you hear us, Dredd? Oh, well.
No, that's not me.
Oh, shame, because you sound exactly like...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. More importantly, can you hear us? Oh, what a shame. Dredd can't... That's a bit peculiar. Dredd, if you can sort out what's going on... We can hear you, but you seem to not be able to... King Cunner, am I still coherent to you?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just he probably couldn't hear you.
Oh, that's how strange. Davey FPL saying a McDonald's stream to celebrate the launch of FPL. Nah. Although, I'm thinking, if you've just reminded me, Davey, you've just reminded me. I don't want to reveal it, but yes, there may be food involved, shall we say, on tomorrow's stream. There is a chance of that. A Notorious Nerd saying Giroud has been on fire during this pandemic, even in training. So there we are, my friend. There we are.
It's not cut a cup for Abraham anyway. So that's why I brought up the point to you.
Yeah. Ace Adventura, no more crisps, please. Nah, it's definitely not going to be crisps. Donuts, Vince is saying no, definitely not donuts. Cupcakes. Remove the word cup and you've pretty much hit the nail on the head. So well done to Mavid Dykels there for getting that bang on the money. Let's just see if Dredd's back with us. Dredd, are you back with us? No, he's not. What a shame. And Lewis still hasn't come into the waiting room. So Mitch. If you put it in team screenshots, I highly recommend you put it in team screenshots in the next 10 seconds because I'm going to be going off air any minute now. Davey FPL, are you doing deadline or during matches stream tomorrow? Right, so I had a conversation with my housemate. I had a conversation with Jason. And I basically said this. All the big channels are going to be streaming at 4 o'clock. We all know this. You are one of them, along with various others. And the simple answer is, do I want to be doing it? Yes. Your rivals. And I love the competition. Hey! So I'm going to have to say that, yes, I am going to be doing a stream before the deadline. But more importantly, we are going to be covering the games themselves. So Cameron's saying, will you be streaming while the games are on for any of the games? Yes, in answer to your question, yes. I am going to be streaming during definitely the Aston Villa Sheffield United game. That's from my point of view. However, I'd have to cut it short because obviously that overlaps with the Man City game. And Jason, I'd like to think, will be covering the Man City versus Arsenal game. So hopefully we will be able to cover both games. But what I can tell you for definite is that yes, there will be a deadline hour stream and then it will be on to the Aston Villa. There is a chance though, to be fair, that I may just not bother with the deadline stream at all and just go with the build up to the Aston Villa versus Sheffield United game. I think from my personal perspective, I think there's more of a chance of me doing that, and then I actually be able to tie that in with going live with Jason as well. So who knows? I've just brought Dredd in and he's gone off. He's just gone. What a shame. What a shame. So this is Mitch's team, King Khan. I'm going to bring it up on screen and now for everybody to see just quickly. So it is pretty much as you'd expect, to be honest with you. We've got Henderson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Walker, Lundstrom, Grealish, Fernandes, Fleck, De Bruyne, Aubameyang, Vardy, Aguero. I'm just assuming that there's no chips being played here. It's just a standard team for the unlimited transfer. It's got all the players that you'd like to expect in here, but I want to talk to you, King Kun, about the Kyle Walker pick. and Jamie Vardy. Your thoughts on Mitchell going with Kyle Walker and Jamie Vardy? And he's going with Kevin De Bruyne captaincy as well.
No, nothing wrong with that, Kyle Walker. But do you believe City will keep 2 clean sheets? That's the thing, Or do you think an attacker? I don't know. It could go either way, but it's a shout. We don't know how the scores are gonna go either way, but it's something different to what I'm saying anyway. It's not template-ish.
Lewis Kirkby, in answer to your question, I'm not going to read it out on air, but the answer's no. Firetog actually making that point as well. Lewis, you have got a few minutes if you want to come live on air. Cameron Rawcliffe, Steve, what are your aims for the rest of the season? What rank are you looking to reach? Or are you all about just having a laugh? I'm telling you now, it won't be a laugh. If you've seen, which I know you haven't, but if anybody's been watching the virtual FPL streams, at the end of the day, I want to take things seriously, competitively. It's like I mentioned on my appearance on Planet FPL on their wonderful 24-hour stream. I made the point that at the end of the day, you've got to what you invest in, you've got to take seriously. And whether I'm good, bad, okay at the game, I still want to do the best and win. And in answer to your question, I want to win the James Bang Mini League. Or at least do really, really well in it where I get some self-respect out of it. I mean, my season is awful, mate. I mean, I'm 1.1 million. And yeah, ironically, when the season was came to a close, I was actually doing really well. My differentials were paying off. And yeah, it was frustrating that, we were going into Man City Arsenal with my Sterling captaincy. And I couldn't do anything with it. Hence that McDonald's stream. Which was ridiculous. Matt Henley saying a point here about if Laporte is... Well, Laporte's back. Is he going to bolster City's defence? Laporte, King Kun. Your thoughts on him?
No, he's the main central defender in that side. And he makes a big difference. If there was a defender I would have picked this week, it would have been Laporte, because he can score a header. He can get an assist here and there, but he's the only player I would consider from Man City as a defender. Maybe Mendy, but we don't know about Mendy's fitness, and he could play 20 minutes or play both games. Who knows? Someone mentioned Mendy. I think it was Marcelo Rebello, I think.
Who was that? Sorry, Cancelo, did you say?
No, Marco Rebello mentioned Mendy about 15 minutes ago. We didn't shout it out, but
I see.
About Mendy, what are your thoughts on Mendy?
Well, he plays under Pep, doesn't he? But we all know the fact that he can be a bit AWOL sometimes. I think that go with the safety with Man City, and I think Laporte, maybe Otamendi, Walker. I think go Edison mainly. I think Edison is your main guy that you want to be. It's a bit like with Sheffield United or Arsenal, really. Well, Arsenal specifically, you don't know who's going to play for them, but you know that Leno will. Mavid Dykels, any more match of the day buying streams in the works, Steve-O? Stay tuned for that is the simple answer, because obviously the best thing... I'll tell you what, and I'll answer that in a second. Just a quick one on Walker that we've got up on screen at the moment. The reason why Mitch hasn't gone with... He's gone with Walker instead of Laporte is because he's concerned that he may not be playing. Would you just go with the safety in Walker, or would you just get in Laporte?
Yeah, I beg your pardon? I'll go, what's it called? I'll go Laporte over Walker.
There we are, Mitch. Go get Laporte. So, Mavid Dykels, all I will say is that the fact that we've got pretty much games every single day, there is a very, very, very high chance that because I work early mornings, I can easily avoid football scores. It's not avoiding the football scores isn't difficult for me. So there's a very, very high chance that there could be a match of the day blind stream in the works, to coin your phrase. Stuart Bell. I have my free hit almost set. My one decision is to either go with Ozil or Ings in my team. He thinks that a lot of people are going to be sleeping on Ings versus Norwich. King Kun, Ozil or Ings?
I don't like both, but I don't know. If I had to choose, probably... Oh, that's so hard to choose, man. I'll go maybe Ozil. I'll go Messi Ozil. Maybe.
Oh, there we are. There we are there, Stuart.
How much is he?
Ozil 7 point something. 7 points. I'll give you an exact.
Who knows if Ings plays? Like, he missed a lot of matches towards the end of before the coronavirus.
How are we doing, lads?
Shall we have a? We'll have a Lewis. We'll have a Lewis off. No, wait a minute. How are we doing, lads?
How are you, Lewis?
All right, lads. How are we doing?
Honestly, your impressions of me are brilliant. I
You-
was listening. I was crying, laughing the other day.
No. I can't be bothered with this. I can't be bothered to keep it up. In answer to your question, Ozil is 7.3. So it's 7.3 versus 7.1. Obviously, Ings has got a single fixture versus Norwich. Ozil has got 2 fixtures versus Man City, Brighton. So, Kun, just stick your neck on the line here. What do you think, Ozil or Ings? Based on that,
I'm going Ozil.
Lewis,
Ozil or Ings?
Ozil or Ings, just of those two, yeah.
Definitely Ings. But to be honest, I won't even go either.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I'd
but
try
we
and
had
find
this one.
I'd try and find a different option.
So we've got your team up on screen, Lewis. Talk to us. You've got Kun on air. You've got myself on air. You've got the listeners watching at the moment. Tell us about this team here. For people listening on audio, we've got Henderson, Doherty, Stevens, Alexander-Arnold, Fleck, Fernandes, Sterling, De Bruyne, Jimenez, Aguero, Pukki. Now, just again, it's the classic line of just remind the audience your circumstances regarding the chips. You haven't got any, have you?
Yeah, obviously I've got no chips, so I have to set up for the long term. Hence the no Arsenal, really. I just don't rate. I've said this a lot before. I just don't rate Arsenal, and I'd rather have players like Jimenez and things like that who are set for the long term. Obviously got brilliant fixtures, and it allows me to get sort of a premium defence in Maguire, who will come in for Stevens after the double, and then Doherty long term if he does well. I'm pretty much 100% on this team. Besides Cathcart, like Cathcart's, he'll never really play. It's just a bench fodder that's just going to sit third bench pretty much every week. In Gameweek 31, my transfers are going to be, I'm going to get Henderson out to Button, and then Pope's going to play every week. Sterling to Salah, and then I'm just going to do that, just a -4. Henderson out, Sterling out.
Planning transfers. Now, this is something that I have not heard. People planning transfers, and yes, gee whiz, more impressions. This is the only reason why people come to this show is for Steve-O to do impressions. Harbour Boy just quickly saying, well, we are at the 2-hour mark. We have been going on, would you believe, for 2 hours. King Kun has kindly taken his time out to be with me for, what is it, an hour and 40 minutes? King Kun, you've been with us?
Nah, it's fine. It's actually interesting. So, yeah, I like Louis' team.
So, we've been going for 2 hours. Yeah, if you want to hit the like button just to show your support for myself and Jason, please do. Mr. Blue Nathan, let's hear a G Wiz. I'm not really in the mood to do a G Wiz impression. It's all about, hashtag play your own game. Yeah? I need to get his London accent nailed, really. But no, we haven't, King Kong, we haven't heard people strategizing about transfers following on. And
yeah, that's the thing. Sorry, I had to cut you off.
Yeah,
That's the
go
thing
for it, yeah.
with Aston Villa and with Henderson not playing next week, you're in a pickle if you start these 3 Aston Villa players and Henderson, your goalkeeper. it could be four players. You got to move on, you know. So I like Louis' strategy. I'm doing something similar because I want to bring in a Wan-Bissaka instead of Maguire next week, and a Martial or Rashford. So they're my two moves next week. That's what I'm planning anyway.
Yeah, I like that, especially Rashford. I think Rashford could come back and do really well, but he's off penalties now, so it puts me off him a little bit, especially because he's a forward option and there's just a lot of good ones. I think with Maguire over Wan-Bissaka, the only reason I'm going for Maguire is because I feel like he's more nailed. He's literally played every single game this season, if I'm not wrong. I literally think he's played every single game, so he's obviously not lacking fitness. And I think if anyone's going to get rotated out of the defence, it'd be the left-back spot, the centre-back spot and the right-back spot. I don't think Maguire's going to get rotated at all. I think Dalot can come in for Wan-Bissaka, give him a bit of game time.
No, I don't think so, man. I really don't, because Man United have to win games. They're not resting no players.
Yeah, I feel like we will though. And another reason I'm going for Maguire is because we've got an excellent set piece taker now, and we've not had one for a long time. And I think Maguire, with his big head, he could get on a lot of headers. To be honest, he scored one recently, I think, just before the lockdown. So yeah, I think he's got a good aerial threat, and he could be in on the goals.
Yeah, I agree with Maguire, but I think Wan-Bissaka plays every game till the end of the season, unless he gets
Yeah, I think they both probably do, but if I'd have to pick one that's more nailed, I'd definitely say Maguire.
Yeah, Notorious Nerd is a fan of Maguire. He's sticking his neck on the line. He's pretty much going with Maguire, Fernandes, and there was another player, Martial. Your thoughts on Martial actually moving forward? I mean, I barely hear his name mentioned, and we had news earlier on as well, Luke. Well, I brought the news to King Cun that it's been reported that Pogba won't be starting versus Tottenham. He thinks that then that's going to have a negative effect on the specific match. Yeah, so talk to us about Man United assets and maybe this Tottenham game as well.
I think regarding Martial, I think he's honestly brilliant. He's reversed out of position, well, in a good way. He's 8 mil, obviously he's cheaper than Fernandes. I think Fernandes is more consistent though, so I'd rather go for him instead and just keep him there. I think as a double up, him and Martial could be really, really good. I think Triple United is going to become the meta, you could say, after the Tottenham or the Sheffield game. I think United assets are going to be really, really good. I think Rashford, is going to come back into the picture. I think, United defender is going to be not essential, but I think a lot of people are going to own a United defender. If you just look at the fixtures that we've got after the Sheffield game, even for the Sheffield game, that's a pretty easy clean sheet, I'd say. I think we could definitely do well. And Pogba, I don't really see him as much as a fantasy asset, to be honest, because he's not on pens anymore, and I feel like he's going to be playing a bit of a deeper holding midfielder role. Not necessarily a holding midfielder, but maybe in a pivot with Matic next to him and then Bruno at number 10. I think that's probably how we're going to line up. But if he doesn't start versus Spurs, I don't think it's going to harm us too much, because we've not had him all season and we've still done really well against the big teams. So I don't really think it's going to have too much of a negative effect. I think we'll do just fine without him. Like players like Fred and McTominay, obviously Matic as well, they've all been doing absolutely amazing this season. Like behind Wan-Bissaka, Fred's been our player of the season. And now he's pretty much going to get dropped for Pogba if he does start. So I don't think we're lacking depth in midfield. I think we'll be fine, to be honest. And I think we will beat Tottenham.
Yeah, but Lewis, your Man United's done well against big teams because they played on the break, on the counter. Now you got to take the game on against these two teams. Probably not against Tottenham, but against Sheffield at home, they're gonna sit back on you guys.
Yeah, true. But we've got Bruno now, and I think his creativity can just unlock a defence. And I think we've got way more ability from set pieces and things like that now as well. We've got more than just one way to score. Like we can do more than just hit teams on the break now. We've got a good creative midfielder. I think we will beat Sheffield as well. I think Sheffield might struggle a bit without the crowd. away from home. I don't know. I feel like at Bramwell Lane they're a lot better. That's just what I feel like. Anyway, I feel like at Old Trafford we'll beat them. We did well against them at Bramwell Lane as well. They won't have been Henderson, so I feel like that's going to limit the defence a lot.
Talking of Man United in general, we have this is a bit of a different team, and hopefully Dread FPL can hear us now because we can bring up his team. He's got some decent differentials. Dread FPL, please tell us you can hear us now.
Yes, I can hear you, bruv.
Hey.
There we go.
Hey.
Thank you to
Hello,
Dre Zera helping you, wasn't it? And Firetog.
Yeah, they both sorted me out. Cheers, guys.
Fantastic. So, here we go. Now, you've got a Man United fan on here with Lewis. You've got King Kun that's a fan of this particular player. It's Rashford. You're going with Rashford. Do you want to tell us about why you're going with Rashford? And just tell us about your team in general. You're going with a bench boost. And just overall, what your situation is going into game week 30, please.
Well, I had some team value that I'd built up over the season. And so I really liked to have all or as many of the attacking sort of defenders that I could. Hence that back line I've got, which will then revert to again on the bench after the double, and I'm going to have probably give a go 4-4 or 4-3-3. But this is the thing is because of the break and everything. I've not got, for want of a better phrase, the noise of like overthinking and everything. I've not got all that information, so I'm really it's a gut pick of everyone that I've got in my team, basically.
Yeah, I really do like that Rashford pick. I think he'd do really well.
Or?
Sorry?
You bench boosting or
I'm bench boosting, yeah. The only thing that I'm going backwards and forwards on is having Pope or Leno.
So just before
definitely sorry, just
before we continue, the people listening on audio, it's Henderson, Alexander-Arnold, Doherty, Alonso, Laporte, Egan. That's stunning. De Bruyne, Fernandes, Grealish, Aguero, Jimenez in a 5-3-2 formation. But this is a bench boost, so we've got Pope, Rashford, Keita. How much is Keita, Dread?
He's like 5'4" or something.
Yeah, 5.4.
Then I've got a good idea for you then. So Keita, Cantwell. My immediate thought process is why don't you just downgrade Keita to a double game week player and begin?
I was thinking about that. I really was thinking about that.
I think do it. I think do it.
Well, because I've already got Grealish. You see, I don't think I want to double up.
Can you just explain why you don't want to double up? Do you just expect Aston Villa not to do particularly well over the next 2 game weeks?
Because I'm not going to want 2 Aston Villa players after the double game week, and I don't want to have to use an extra transfer, if you see what I mean.
I think a good option, to be honest, could be Fleck instead of Keita. Fleck, last time we all know what Steve was like with the history, like this one. He got a brace last time he played Villa.
Yeah, see, that's the same.
I think Fleck could do really, really well against Villa and Newcastle. For 5 mil as well on a bench boost, you can't really go wrong. He's pretty much nailed on to start both games, probably about 70 minutes per game. I reckon he's going to do well, and if not, he's a guaranteed 4 points, maybe even 6 points regarding the clean sheets as well.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I want Keita in my squad for this weekend.
You think so?
Yeah. Sorry?
What's your thought process behind that?
Well, he's had all this time to sort of like, get rid of his niggles and everything. He's played well in some of the warm-up games that they've had and everything, and I think he could be a bit of a dark horse, really.
I think he could if he starts because obviously Fabinho's going to be fully fit now. Fabinho's going to be playing CDM, Wijnaldum on the left. I'm just not sure where he fits into that. He will come off the bench though.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm thinking that because of the extra substitutions that are available, I think he'll get some game time, and I think he doesn't really need too much time on the pitch to make a difference. So I'm just going to take a punt on him again. It's just a gut thing.
Mm.
Well, basically, yeah. Up until the break and everything, I was listening to numerous podcasts every week, and listening to various um, you know talk people, like fancy football people on YouTube, so on and so forth. And I've done none of that really, except listen to you guys. I think I've listened to one pod since the break and everything. So I've not gotten, and it feels like kind of liberating. I kind
Yeah.
of like it. I'm not overthinking everything. I'm sort of like, no, I'm going to go for that guy, and to hell with it.
Yeah, I actually completely love that thought
Steve, you're
process.
muted.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I know. I'm fully aware of that. I'm aware of that. Cheers, Con. Yeah, I really do like that thought process. People like myself, I said it earlier on, it was all a bit of tongue-in-cheek. It's a bit of fun. I said that I blame Davey FPL for me potentially looking at bench boost. I've stuck with a plan. I've said I'm going 3-5-2. I think having 5 premium, well, within reason, decent quality midfielders that are key to their teams is the best way forward because they bring you more returns. Get 2 quality strikers up front that are guaranteed to get you points, and then have 3 solid defenders. I just don't want to be overthinking all of this. I just want to go. You've decided to go 3-5-2.
Yeah.
You've decided to captain Aguero. Just to shut. I nearly swore then. Just shut up, listen to yourself, and enjoy it. I look at this team here. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the fact that, let's be honest here, You've kind of got the template players in Henderson, Egan, Grealish, De Bruyne, Aguero. That's covered. So the big hitters have already been covered. You've got a lovely differential in Laporte. Laporte is someone that King Kun thinks is going to be an excellent pick. Certainly from a, what do you call it, a Man City defensive perspective. As someone mentioned earlier on, he's going to short that defence. So straight away, you've got a player which is a slight differential to everybody. We're all thinking that moving forward that Man United are going to be really, really good. So you've got, obviously, the key hitters again, Rashford and Fernandes. Jimenez has got an excellent fixture. Doherty, as we all know, such a great attacking player. Alonso, same thing. Trent Alexander-Arnold, no comment. On your bench, Pope, good enough for Burnley. He's not going to get rotated. And then you've got, well, you're probably going to change Keita to maybe someone else, but maybe Fleck as an example. And Cantwell, another key one for not. Do you know what, Dredd? It's template, but it's not template. It's a beautiful team. I really like it. King Kun, what are your thoughts on this team? It's just an overview of it.
No, I like his team. I'm a similar player that likes wing back attacking players inside, but I don't know. I think maybe it's a bit late for that strategy. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Well, the other thing I was thinking of, like beginning of the season and everything, and it seems as if like the defense tends to be where you need to be when you're starting off. I don't know if I'm not remembering it right at the beginning of the season. I think defenders were where the returns were, and I'm kind of thinking in my own head, this is kind of like the start of a season again, and it's going to be like, well, maybe, I just feel in my gut I should go with the defenders and everything, and I like I wanted Alonso, I wanted Doherty, have to have Trent, and now that Laporte's back, it's like, well, for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer, and then I want a bit of the Sheffield Wednesday defence because they're just consistent.
You've just said something which has interested me here, where you just said that it's almost like the beginning of a season again. I alluded to it with King Kun earlier on, that I am finding that it's as if the season has just gone, so to speak. It's as if that didn't exist, and we're just going into like a 9-game week season, and that's how people are treating it.
Yeah.
That's exactly my thought process.
Yeah, are you then looking at this and thinking, I just want to have a bit of fun with this? Are you going to be taking it seriously? I mean, where are you ranked in the world, if you can remember?
Oh, I'm just outside of 1 million, 1.1, something like that. I'm way down there.
So you're holding hands with me then. So the question is, when I'm assuming you'll be participating in James Bang Mini League. Will that be the only? Yeah.
If someone's, if I'm, I'll make sure I get the code for it.
Yeah, like I said, you're a regular member. But anyway, so are you going to be then concentrating maybe on just James Bang's Mini League just to win that money?
No, not really. I'm literally just going to be there to have my own fun with the only way I what I feel in my gut, and hopefully that will bring me somewhere nicely placed in the league.
Yeah, I do like the attitude moving forward. Lewis, Dread FPL brought up about the fact that we're just overthinking. He hasn't been taking any information whatsoever. Have you been overthinking this game week 30 onwards, or is it just a case of let's just have some fun with it?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily having fun with it either. I think I've had a plan even before we knew the games were coming back. Because obviously I was doing my transfers and things like that, and I went off of the fact that the fixtures were going to remain in the same order and things like that. And I was just I've been planning for about 2 months essentially. You could call it. I've not really done too many drafts. I've not done too much tinkering. I've maybe had about 3 drafts with changing 2 players at a time maybe. I'm pretty much set on the core of my team. Let's say about 11 to 12 players. So yeah, I think I'm definitely not overthinking it. I've still been consuming my fantasy football content. I've still been having a look at all the things on Twitter, etc. But I think I'm sticking to my guns really.
Yeah, I've got like I said, I've got your team up on screen at the moment here, and just to remind the audience, you've got no chips, have you, whatsoever? That's just gone.
Nah, none.
And of course, I want to ask you this question actually, because I know for a fact that obviously you've been playing virtual FPL. Has virtual FPL taught you anything? Taking it into fantasy football?
I can't say it has really. Maybe just go with my gut more, because I'm not going to say I copied other people, but I sort of tried to factor in other people's decisions on virtual FPL rather than just going with my own.
Well, let's be honest here. In the Game Week 11 Mini League, you came 3rd or 4th, wasn't it? And you stuck
4th, yeah, and I was a game week behind as well, so I did quite well.
You stuck your neck on the line. You brought in, what was it, a -8 you did, and you did Mahrez in, and you captained him.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. Just doing my own thing. I think a lot of it was trying to block out other people's players in the mini league, etc. When I should have just did what I wanted to, and it paid off for the last 2 game weeks. Obviously, I shot up, bit of a Mahrez captain, couple hits, nice little free hit at the end.
Bilal's saying he really likes your team, Lewis. It's got a good mix of double game week players, and it's got good long-term options like Pookie. Are you expecting Pookie to do well versus Southampton?
Yeah, I'm expecting to do well for a long time, really. I mean, they've got good long-term fixtures. I think it's only the last 3 or 4 that are quite bad, which I'll probably have him out for. I think against Southampton and Everton, those are prime. Those are probably the best fixtures in the league at this point. 2 beach teams, very leaky in defence. I think they're not going to be putting the effort in, really. That's my theory behind it. And I think Norwich, they're going to have to take this opportunity, and they're going to try and do well. And like we said before, I think it's basically a new start to the season. So if Campbell and Pukki can replicate what they did at the start, then I'm in the money.
I'll ask this question to the 3 of you. King, well, the question is, do you think this double game week is a trap? If you want to elaborate on your answer, please do. King Kun, do you think this double game week's a trap?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes. I will elaborate, actually.
Yeah, please do. Carry on.
I think it's a trap besides City players and Sheffield players. I think those are the only 2 teams you can really trust. They've been consistently good in what they do all season. City have been brilliant at scoring goals, hence the triple City attack for me. and they've been brilliant defensively, Sheffield. So I think those are the only two teams you can trust, really. There's a few assets from Arsenal, and there's only one from Villa for me, and it's Grealish. And even then, I don't want him because I was just thinking to myself, well, like, if it wasn't a double, I wouldn't want Grealish for Sheffield and Chelsea. Like, I wouldn't want him for those fixtures, so why would I want him if it's a double? You know what I mean? So I'm deciding to not go with Grealish. It might not pay off, but I'm just not expecting him to do much, really, compared to some of the other assets. And I think players like Aubameyang as well, they're not necessarily a trap, but there's a lot of other brilliant value forwards and even midfielders. There's a lot of value that you can capitalise on, and I don't think Aubameyang's great value. We know Arsenal struggle away from home, and they've got 2 away fixtures, and one's Man City. You know what I mean? So I'm just not expecting much from him. I'm not expecting him to blank, but I'm just not expecting anything big. And for an 11 million player, you're going to want something big and a captaincy option, and it's not really a captaincy option.
Plus a FA Cup final against Brighton for me. So I think it could be a trap.
Yeah, I've got I've got Keyboy's team up on the screen at the moment and talking of traps, and we'll get Dread's opinion on that in a second. But he's going the 2 Arsenal players that he's going with is Pepe and Bellerin.
Yeah.
I mean, is he mad? Do you think that, you know what, Bellerin and Pepe could actually do really well? I mean, I've just heard your thoughts about Arsenal, but yeah, what were your thoughts on Pepe and Bellerin?
I just think the probably the 2 biggest traps, really. Any Arsenal defender and Pepe, it's the money, really. There's so much better value in a lot of other options. I think people are just being blinded by the double game week. Like, you'd never want to own Pepe or Bellerin for City away and Brighton away. Maybe Brighton away, but even that, Brighton does well against Arsenal every time they play them. It's not like it's going to be an easy fixture. They're scrapping relegation. They're not exactly a beach team. They're going to be putting 100 million% effort in every single game. So I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park like people think.
I know Jammy Dodger asked this question earlier, asking about looking at his team. Just a quick overview. Talking of Arsenal double game week players, I keep hearing this name mentioned a lot. It's in Nketiah. Your thoughts? We'll get Dread FPL. Do you know much about Nketiah? Do you think that it's just for 4.4 he's worth having, or do you just think no, keep away?
I like Nketiah, but I can't fit him in my team. I've got him on my watch list. I do like him. Out of Arsenal assets, for me personally, I'd only look at Leno and Nketiah. Basically, because Nketiah is just cheap and would allow you to do other things, and it looks like he'll get minutes, basically. But I don't trust Aubameyang. I mean, he is good. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I believe you can get a much cheaper striker who will return the same points that he does.
Yeah.
Lewis,
I've gone away from Aubameyang. I went Vardy. So. We got to take into perspective that players are chasing golden boots and teams are fighting for relegations, and every fixture is going to be a cup final for them. So you got to be careful with the fixtures, and when you realise that some teams that's an easy win, but when you look at it, Brighton's got the next 5 games for them, impossible for them to get points.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Like I said before, I think the easier fixtures are going to be teams like Southampton, Everton, maybe even Burnley, depending on how they play. Teams like that, teams that are in mid-table, they've not got nothing to play for, just the typical beach team. And regarding Nketiah, I really, really like him. I think as a 4.4 million option, he could be really, really good value. I think, obviously, he was getting a lot of game time before the break. And to be honest, I don't think he'll play the City game. I think he might come on for the last 10, 20 minutes. But I think he could get a start against Brighton because Lacazette seems to be out of favour. Well, he did seem to be before the break. And he's got a goal in him, Nketiah. It looked really, really good. I think Saka as well. Saka could be very good. I don't think he's going to be playing left back anymore. I think if he's going to play anywhere, he's going to play left wing. So if Lacazette is going to be out of favour, Aubameyang might play down the middle and Saka on the left. I think that's how he's going to. I think that's what's going to happen against Brighton.
Surely Lacazette plays, but you reckon?
Against
I
City,
dunno.
yeah, but I don't think he will against Brighton. To be honest, I think Arteta really likes the young players like the Martinelli, the Nketiah. Not so much Martinelli actually. He's dropped him a bit, but I think Saka was the best player before the break for the last 2 months that Arsenal were playing. He was the best player, one of them anyway, just behind Aubameyang. So I don't think you can drop him just like that. He's got an assist in him. I think he will play on the left.
Yeah, there's a player in Jim's. Sorry, is it Jim? I've completely lost the name now. Jamie Dodgers team here that a lot of people talk about. I haven't heard his name at all today. It's Mahrez. King Kun Mahrez. Is he a punt worth taking on, or do you think just stick with the big boys and say Sterling? Sterling basically, De Bruyne.
Mahrez. You can. How do I know who Pep's going to choose? Out of him or Bernardo Silva or... I don't know. Just with the 5 subs, maybe he could be useful. Listen, Mahrez has been the best right-sided winger this season for Man City. So it could be a shout.
Dread FPL, we've been hearing a lot about, for example, Sane. I know it's a bit of a random name to throw at you, but have you got any thoughts on Sane whatsoever? Or do you think that Sane's a red herring?
No, I like him. Obviously, we've got no idea and everything. I can't see any reason why Pep wouldn't play him, even if he is probably going to leave in the summer and everything. I think he's a good shout. But on the same hand, I kind of think, well, who would you rather have, Sane or Son, for instance?
You're going with a 3-5. Well, to be fair, you're going with a bench boost. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. And we've got J-Boy, who's a regular contributor to the show. He's sent in his team, and he's gone big at the back as well, just like you. It's his team's looking delightful. For people listening audio, it's Leno, Alexander-Arnold, Bowley, Basham, Egan, Sykes, Cantwell, Fernandez, De Bruyne, Fleck, Grealish, Aubameyang, Abraham, Aguero, Edison. How on earth can you afford that?
It's because of the budget defence, innit? He's got he's got Cantwell, Fleck, and then he's got 4 budget defenders.
God, that's what are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's pretty much about as within reason template as you're going to get.
Template as you can get, yeah.
Yeah, it's and he's got an Aguero captain, of course. So, yeah, it's J-Boy. That's pretty much looking like my team, give or take. We've got some lovely single game week players in Bowley, Cantwell, Sykes, Fernandez, Abraham there as a going back to, as Dan said last night, his old team. Everything. So yeah, it's a beautiful looking.
Similar to mine, I think Dockett is my most expensive player at 6.3 in defence. So.
I mean, I suppose in a way it comes down to what chips you have, because I don't have a wild card left, so I have to think about a longer term and everything. So yeah, I mean, I see teams of people got a lot of double game week players, and I'm in a way envious and everything. But then I'm also glad I don't have to think about, okay, what am I doing with my team after that?
I asked Kun earlier on, and I'll ask both you and Lewis. I'll start with you, Dread. If you had all your chips in place, do you think that, for instance, someone like myself, it's just go all in on double game week players, or do you just think like I've already done, just stick with 6 or 7 and then get?
No, if I've got all my teams and we've got these unlimited transfers and everything, then I'm going full in on double game week players, and then I'm just popping my wild card afterwards. So it would seem like standard to do for me.
You would go 12 double game week players?
Not necessarily 12, but I'd have a lot. I'd also want to look at who I think will be the good single week point returners as well.
Lewis, if you had any all your chips, would you be going gun ho 12 double game week players, or just like Dredd said and like I've got just predominantly the main template ones and then shuffle it around with the single game week players?
No, definitely not. I think the maximum I'd go with is 8, and that's with 2 Arsenal, no Villa, triple City, triple Sheffield. Yeah, I think if I had all my chips, which I bloody well nearly swore then, I wish I did, to be honest, but I bottled it. I think if I had all my chips, I'd use a bench boost this week, just because it'd be so easy to get out of that team afterwards with a wild card, and you could prepare for it so well with the unlimited transfers. Obviously, it's a double game week as well, which helps out a lot with a lot of the budget value players. I think triple captain I'd probably save for maybe obviously City and Liverpool have got some really good fixtures left. Like I think Liverpool have got Villa at home, City have got Brighton away, City have got some gorgeous fixtures towards the end. I think free hit would be the one that I'd be a bit, I don't know, I don't really know what to do with it, to be honest. I think I'd probably use it Liverpool versus City just to get away from the defenders from that team, and maybe get some other premiums in for Salah and Aguero and players like that.
You just mentioned Salah and Mane. The final question, and then we will wrap it up, is: are we overlooking Liverpool? Are we all completely blinded by Sterling, De Bruyne, Aguero, Fernandes, etc.? Are we overlooking Liverpool assets? Dredd, I'll give the question to you first.
Well, I had Salah in my team, and I sacrificed him to get Kun in, and I'm sort of like, I've got to have Kun for 2 game weeks over Salah playing in the derby. Kind of makes sense to me. So, but that's why I've got catering, because I still wanted to have a bit of it, and so I'm taking a punt there. He was actually Henderson. I know we were looking at a team earlier. The guy's got Henderson in, which I think is a good shout. But no, you have to sort of like go with where you think you're going to get the most points at the end of the day, and so I'm going with Kun over one of either Salah or Mane for this week.
Just a quick question: what are you predicting that game to end as?
I reckon it'd be 3-0 or 3-1 to Liverpool.
Lewis, are we overlooking Liverpool main attacking threat?
I don't think so. I think, I had De Bruyne, Aguero, and Salah as my 3 premiums, but to be honest, I think you can't overlook the City premiums in midfield. Like I'd be very surprised if a player like Sterling got outscored by Mane or Salah in a single game week. But at the same time, I feel like Everton could get battered, to be honest. I think not necessarily we're overlooking them. I just think it's just, you can't, like, it's going to be hard to have them in and be set up for the long term and be set up for the double game week and things like that. Obviously, depending what chips you have left. But for me, I'm getting Salah straight back in afterwards because I think you're going to need him for Sterling. But for the double game week, I think Sterling's a miles better option. But at the same time, it depends on your team structure. If your team structure is set up to where you can have a good triple City premium option and Salah or Mane and Trent as well, then you're going to be sorted.
King Kun, just one quick question for you. We got Zimmies. He's been in chat for the majority of this show. Zimmy, team up on screen at the moment. He's gone very, 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 very differential indeed. Whether he goes through it or not, I have no idea. He's gone 12 double game week players. He's going all in, but they're all differentials, a lot of them. To name a couple: Jesus, Pepe, David Luiz, Walker. We've got Jimenez in there. Rico, Reina, King Kun, Target, another one. King Kun, your thoughts on this, just quickly, a quick overview of these differentials. Is it really worth going in differential in this double game week?
This is a team that I've probably made this was probably my first year playing the game. Something similar to this, having a lot of double game week players. But I understand the concept of the double game week, but I think a single game week player can score just as much or more points than a double game week player, and then you're stuck with them. So to answer Zimmy's question, I'll probably cut 3 or 4 of them.
The question I'll ask one more question to you, King Cunt, and I will let you go because I do want to wrap up the show now. So, King Cunt, putting your neck on the line here. Which single game week player off the top of your head do you think's got the best chance of scoring higher than, say, one of the premium assets that we're all going for, i.e. De Bruyne, Aguero, Jesus, Sterling, etc.? Which single game week player do you think could outperform these double game week players?
Vardy, Barnes, Willian, Alonso. There's a lot of players.
There we have it. King Kun, I really do appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, you've been with us for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, just the free hits, the double game weeks, it sometimes leaves a sour taste to people. But with people that have played know what double game weeks can be a disaster sometimes anyway, so.
Yeah, they're
hit and miss. So.
I know that so-and-so mentioned the fact that is there a chance that it's going to end up with us all? I'll have to put that up. Very, very clever, Jason. I think this could be one of those what Andy Martin said, where City beat Arsenal 1-0. It's Gundogan with the goal, and no assist. You just know it, and I cannot wait to be laughing my head off about that. It'll be absolutely hilarious.
Nah, they can't. Do you seriously think you could finish 1-0?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
I don't know.
Football is a very, very unpredictable game. Unless it's Man City versus Burnley, where we've already discussed this. There's no chance that there's nothing predictable in football.
You've got no faith in your own team, Steve. Always slagging them off.
It's just useless. They're absolutely useless.
Burnley just does enough to stay in the league. They just do enough.
Exactly.
Well, they're pushing Champions League football this season, aren't they?
They push every season, but at the end of the year, they're on holidays.
Yeah. Dice just sets up to essentially like Sam Allardyce. He doesn't want to be losing games. He's very defensive minded, and it kind of backfires quite a lot on us. Dread FPL, who do you think will be the best single game week player if you were to pick one out of the hat?
I'm going to pick one who I have in my team, and I'm going for Alonso because he's playing Aston Villa.
Beautiful. And Lewis.
This is a hard one. I'm gonna go for someone I've got in my team as well, and someone I think's being overlooked by a lot of people. I'm gonna go for Pookie.
There we have it. There we have it. We'll be having the Pookie pie. Dread, Lewis, King Kun, thank you for joining me this morning.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
There we have it. There's Lewis Kirkby, King Kun, and Dread FPL joining me, kindly taking their time out to talk all things fantasy football this morning on The Breakfast Show. And I do want to bring you this very clever, very smart editing from Jason here on screen now. Very funny. I'll never catch Jason. Very good. Very, very good indeed. Onwards and upwards. It's the usual story, really. Just join back again. Tonight, myself, Jason, Daily Llama, and Firetog will be live going through this game week. Guys, if you've enjoyed this stream, the easiest way to say thank you to me and Jason is by just hitting the like button. If you're completely brand new around here and you've enjoyed what you've seen, you know what to do. Just hit the subscribe button. other than that, the four of us will see you tonight, where we'll be talking all things Game Week 30 and predicting the scores. Cheers, guys, and thanks for watching.